Welcome to the Dirt Life Show with your host, George Hamill.
We are live, episode 132 of the Dirt Life Show. We are IMG Motorsports. We're going to have a Baja 500 recap for you guys today. Good. Thank you very much for Rome for letting us know that you guys can hear us. I got my buddy Keith Mila over here. Everybody calls him Mila, so ditch the Keith. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Hopefully we'll have a pretty good show today. We got the Facebook and the YouTube, all that stuff lined up too. So if you guys want to hear a little bit better of the production, go over to YouTube and check it out. Or Facebook, either one. But we're going to be here live with you guys. Instagram jacked us big time. Yeah, but it's cool. We'll figure it out. We're smarter than the computer. So, all right, like I said, Baja 500 recap. So we are going to have all kinds of rad people chiming in today. We got Brandon Sims. He's going to chime in. That's going to be a good conversation because Brandon actually did really well. But there was some drama, man, with the, I don't know what you got to call it, the bottleneck. Is that what it was?
Oh, yeah. Race 150?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that a little bit and a little bit about, let me see here. Who else we're going to have? We are going to have Caden Wells, dude I hung out with all week. Emma Cornwell, she's going to come on. The whole Risk Racing team did fantastic this week. Yeah, on the summit. Thanks for home racing. Caden Mack's going to come on a little bit and talk with us too. So that's going to be pretty cool to talk with him. Max Eddy's going to come on, talk with him a little bit about how they did with the whole team, Scandal Motorsports SMG team. Dude, Ethan Ebert, Joe Whining did so well in the Honda program. It was super cool to see. They were hauling butt all day. And Adrian Orellana and Manny are going to come on from Rancho Racing. They did really well, too. Dude, Adrian was flying towards the end of the race. And, dude, the champ himself, Zach Seislove in the Honda four-seater, is going to come on with Jeff Proctor and Ryan Edwards from KMC Wheels. Going to be coming on and joining us a little bit later today. So we're going to have some fun with you guys. Let me shoot Brandon Sims a message over here real quick, and we'll get him on with Skylar. Skylar, if you're watching, join us right now, dude. And we'll get you on and start talking about some stuff. Freeze Motorsports. Sorry, man. We would love to get you on, but we won't have time today just because we have so many people. You guys can see, like I said, we're at IMG Motorsports. It's going to be a pretty awesome show for you guys today. So let me message Brandon and see if we can get him on. He told me to shoot him a reminder because he got so much stuff going on. Let's see here. And then, yeah, it's going to be a good show, man. When was the last time you went down to the Baja 500, Mila?
Last year.
For the 500?
Yeah,
What'd you think?
I love Mexico. I really do. It's just a good time. Whether you're racing or spectating.
Yeah, it really is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
God damn, could you guys please stop texting me? I really got to concentrate on this show. Let's see here. All right, Skylar, we'll get you on here. Oh, there's Brandon. Sweet. All right, let's get the boys on here. We'll start talking a little bit. So for all you guys looking on Facebook and YouTube, you probably won't be able to see too much, but we're going to try as much as we can. What's
going
up,
on,
boys?
George? I think
How are
I'm
you
still
guys?
recuperating from this weekend, but I'm well now.
Recuperating
Dude,
from
I
all
didn't
the
have
tacos,
much time to
you
eat
mean?
tacos. I think I got like 4 separate occasions where I had tacos, and that was about it.
Oh, really? Dude, that's crazy. So some of the people might not be able to hear us on Facebook or YouTube, but we're going to post this up later. But for everybody that's on Facebook and YouTube that can't hear us, feel free to go over to Instagram. It's at the Dirt Life Show. Check it out. You can see Brandon Sims and, well,
see me.
Scott bailed out. He's too busy.
In a little tiny picture.
Yeah, it's a
can you
little
hear me
quiet,
pretty
but I
good,
can
Brandon?
make do.
All right. Take off and just talk right here instead.
Hey, Sky.
So for the YouTube
Hey.
guys and Facebook guys.
Long time no see.
There he is. So, Brandon and Skylar, I don't know if
Nope.
you know. Do you know Mila?
About to, huh?
Race against each other.
Oh, race against each other?
Did we?
Probably. Well, so he handled a lot of the stuff for the Roughest brothers with their UTV program and with the truck program. Helped build that new Coors Light truck. So, rad rad dude over here. He's been down to Baja more than this guy right here. So it's all right. Let's talk about your guys' race a little bit. It seemed like it was filled with drama afterwards, but maybe give us a little bit of an update on how the race went before you got the news about
Actually, we started towards the back of the class. I think we started 21st-ish, right behind Austin Weiland, which actually obviously won the race in the UTV class. I was just going to try pacing him for a long time, but he was on the gas all day, so I didn't really have much for him. I just was going to run my own race and see how it planned out at the end. I was obviously, or Skylar and I were actually going to do the whole race, or we did the whole race ourselves, so I kind of had to plan accordingly there because that was a brutal course. I've done quite a few Baja 500s, quite a few Baja 1000s, and that was by far the most brutal, excruciating race I've done. So I figured there was going to be a lot of broken cars, which there was. I mean, we passed a lot of cars that were broken. And, we just ran our own race. Obviously, we ran into the log jam at race mile, 102 or something like that, I think it was, just like the entire UTV class did. We sat there for, maybe 20, 25 minutes, somewhere in there. I was actually out of the car. Most of the UTV guys were out of their cars. I was actually sitting there talking to everybody, just kind of drinking water and hanging out for 20 minutes. It kind of was a nice break for a little bit, actually.
It was a nice
because
break.
we were getting ready to drop down into San Felipe. So, it was kind of nice to get out of the car and walk around for a little bit. And I actually had no idea what was going on. We were so far up the bottleneck that I had no idea what was even going on. I assumed a truck had slid off the side of the road, but was blocking most of the course, and that was the issue. But where we were at, or where most of the UTVs were at, there was actually none of us really knew exactly what was going on. I never got out my sat phone or anything to call and talk to the pits or anything. So we kind of just sat there and talked amongst everybody, and Skylar went around, talked to all the trucks because he loves to talk to people. So that's what he did. And we just, waited for the log jam to get going again. And we got back in the car and ran our race. From that point on, we actually had no issues. Never got out of the car again. Ran all the way to the finish line with a clean race.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, two things that I got out of that comment that you were just talking about is, first of all, the Baja course, like the way that the track was. So I got the opportunity to pre-run it with Caden Wells and the Risk Racing team, 2 weeks ago before you guys got there. And it was gnarly, like gnarly. And when you say you got out of the car, I think that's awesome because, dude, when we got on the lake bed, it was like 110, 114 going across. Like, it was so freaking hot. And then I understood now what you guys talk about when it's rough because, dude, it was so rough. Like, there was like many portions of the course that would swallow a UTV or just take the arms off of it, right? Like, you had to be really careful with it. So that portion of it in itself, without any of the bottlenecks, is just gnarly. So to see you guys face all that adversity and still do well, in my opinion, is just
we actually pre-ran. Well, I pre-ran that course, the entire course, which I've never done before. I've never pre-ran an entire race before, so this is the first time I actually pre-ran. I went down Tuesday night and started pre-running Wednesday morning. We pre-ran from Ensenada to San Felipe on Wednesday, and then on Thursday morning I woke up and pre-ran from San Felipe back to Ensenada. Now, when you were talking about you did the pre-run, the course was significantly different on race day. After all the big trucks went through it, it was rough during the pre-run. It was twice as bad during the race. So everything that was round turned square, and it was extremely rough.
Dude, I can only imagine then, because I thought it was nasty. And yeah, Caden was actually saying that. He's like, dude, it's going to change. Like, race day is going to be so gnarly. So you're saying the same thing.
It
what
was
do you think,
by
Sky?
far the roughest race we went through. By like, I'd say race mile 400, we'll go through the night, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even think I feel anything anymore. My body just turned to jello, and so I'm like, whatever. This is, it's never going to end, so might as well just enjoy it. Yeah, I gave up
after that
to
point.
Feel good.
Yeah, I can. And so there was a lot of races that faced some adversity. We're going to talk to Caden Wells a little bit later. you guys talked about that gnarly course. He didn't have power steering for 60
Wow.
seconds of the race. Like, did you guys face any during the 500
What was the
miles?
question?
Like, did you guys face any adversity? Did you guys have any car issues? Did you guys have any issues?
Honestly, the only
inside, or was it
adversity we
pretty
really came to was the race got re-racked at race mile 100, and it was a full-on assault
Yep.
down through San Felipe. I mean, we were battling 10 cars, 6100s, all these different vehicles. So we'd make a pass in a spot that we were quicker than like the 10 cars or the 6100s, and then 5 minutes later they would pass us back. And so, I mean, there was people passing us on both sides. The dust down there was bad. So that was the most adversity we actually had to deal with was basically the re-rack at race mile 102 and a full-on assault to try to get to the end.
I mean, there was a couple times with these trucks passing us. We don't know that they're there. They, some of them, most of them were courteous enough to use the push to pass. And so I tell Brandon, we got another one coming. But then all of a sudden there'd be one next to us, whoa, and I'm like, oh! I scared the shit out of Brandon.
I think Sky was a little gun shy from our last accident when we first got in the car. This was his first race back from Silver State, and I think he was a little gun shy for a minute.
Yeah, I was.
Why you got to be such a sissy?
That 70-mile crash on my side was, was something. It was a shocker.
Yeah, I bet. Hey, so I just saw Austin Whelan jumped on here. If he wants to, you guys want to have
Austin?
him talk with us too?
We don't like him.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that guy, actually.
So, yeah, I thought it was pretty crazy that the whole race got back, like you said, right around mile 100. So, first and foremost, always safety first, right? We were so stoked to see that the driver that was having a heart attack got help and was able to get out of there and back to safety. I don't know if he flew to the U.S. or whatever, but it caused some pretty significant, I don't want to say drama, but pretty significant changes in the way that the race strategy went from then on out, right? Because like you said, it got re-racked. Everybody was in the same spot again. So what do you guys do in that instance to make it so that you have the best possible outcome?
I mean, fortunately for us in that instance, which I've been on both sides of this issue, I've started in the front of the class and I've made it through bottlenecks and the rest of the class had not before, which is super nice. I've also been where I started in the back of the class and worked my way up and ended up in a bottleneck where it actually worked towards my advantage. So, I mean, it's Baja, unfortunately, and sometimes it's the luck of the draw. You make it through a bottleneck. I mean, the next car behind you could cause a bottleneck and totally block everybody else in your class, and you could almost run away with the race, which actually something similar like that happened in the Baja 1000. Lambert made it through, I think, one of the bottlenecks, and a lot of the other class got stuck in the bottleneck, and he gained a huge lead on all of us, and then we're trying to drive extremely hard to catch back up, and it's just hard to say it. When it's Baja racing, usually the UTVs we can make it around a lot of the bottlenecks, but this one, none of the pictures, none of the video from the helicopter gives justice to as what this actually looked like. I mean, I saw people commenting if they just had a four-wheel drive truck, they'd be able to drop down and drive down this mountain. Where this happened, that wasn't an option. I mean, these boulders were the size of Volkswagens. It really wasn't an option. We all had to sit there and wait in line. It's just, it's the roll of the dice when it comes to that, whether you're going to be in a good position to make any kind of advantages or not, So it's just tough when it comes to Baja racing. And there's instances like that where there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah. In fact, Jeffrey Ricker just commented in too, like, in fact, Jeffrey, I'm going to argue your point. You said they should restart it in 30-second increments. There's no possible way to do that. It just doesn't happen. Like,
not that far out.
No, because the way that it works in those situations, and I know, Jeffrey, you probably understand Baja, but like, in my opinion, and I will have my own opinion, Milo will have his own opinion, you guys will have your own opinion, but the only person that should ever get credit is the person that's actually helping, right? Like, if you press the button for, emergency, there should be an emergency, right? Like, if you're just waiting in a bottleneck, dude, just wait. Like, you just got to wait. I mean, that's it, right? So if we're just analyzing this one situation, and I'm not advocating for your guys' time back or anybody's time back, I'm Switzerland over here, I'm neutral. I would suggest that SCORE just doesn't give that credit to the people that didn't help. Like, if you didn't help and you press the button, well, sorry, you don't get your credit back. So the race just went on after that, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, I've obviously been talking to SCORE all day. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what happened and what's going on, and I think they're working on I doubt it's a solution, but they're definitely addressing the issue that I had at this race. According to what they told me, is that they're going to give the UTV class guys time credit for everybody's going to get a time credit is what they've told me. So they said I'm going to get a 22-minute time credit. I said, why don't we just get rid of the time credits in general and not have any time credits? And they said they would rather add or give everybody time credits. So they told me I'm going to get a 22-minute time credit, and hopefully tomorrow it reflects on the finishing sheet. So I'm kind of waiting until tomorrow to see how everything plays out. But according to them, Jose G, that's what they've told me so far today.
Well, yeah, God, it's got to be so hard when you're the SCORE guys, because there's other guys on the course other than UTVs, right? So it just is what it is. Like, I don't know how I would deal with it if I was in that position. I just have my view looking from
Yeah, and there was a lot of other classes too that it affected as well. I mean, even we went through it yesterday driving home and going through the times, going through the times and who got the credits. You can tell that it actually affected a bunch of podium positions. And so they changed like a couple, and then they didn't change others. So once the whole bottleneck, there was like 50, 60 cars in that bottleneck. And once all of them get a time credit, it's probably going to affect more podiums than just the UTV class.
That's crazy. Have you seen something like that before?
Just the year it was Silver State or Vegas to Reno, they had a big old massive confusion. They had a fire, so they had to skip pit 2, and then everyone raced to pit 3, and you were supposed to start in the position that you got there. And the guys, the flaggers, they didn't get that memo, and they were just sending people. We had frogging like people.
What's up, guys?
Hey, there's Austin. But that time, and then one time in Mexico, right outside, right when we were going into the hills of Ensenada, there was a truck that was jackknifed. So all the trophy trucks were stacked up, and we were waited for like an hour and a half. But SCORE actually came up and restarted the race right at the base of the Ensenada Hills.
Yeah, but that's so gnarly.
Yeah.
Like restarting a race, like in the situation they were in, possible.
Yeah, no, I agree with the no time credit. You're kind of if they really wanted to break it down, they could look at everyone's tracker. They could say, okay, this dude rolled up and he was there 10 minutes. And then the guys that were in the front were there 30 minutes. I mean, it's just too much, man. It's the mystique of Baja, I guess. So if you just count it as, I think Serapis was there. He, hit the emergency. A couple other guys, those guys get a credit for helping. Everyone else, they're stuck in the jam, dude. I don't think.
What if we went back to Austin? You chime in on this first. Welcome to the show, buddy. What if we just went back to just whoever gets to like how it used to be? You race from Ensenada, and whoever gets down to Cabo in the quickest amount of time, and fuck all the rules.
That'd be fun. I think the biggest thing with the time credit is that, like Sims and I were talking today, that if they give him a time credit but don't give me, that switches the whole character of the race, because the race towards the end was Sims versus I, and then if he gets a 25-minute time credit, then if they don't give it to me, then he's now the winner. So we'll see what SCORE does with it.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be gnarly, right? I mean, and you got to give a lot of credit to the SCORE guys listening too, right? Like,
yeah, and I thought it was cool that Serapis and those guys that were there first, they did help the co-driver that was hurting, and it was really cool, the Coastal guys, to land and help him out and everyone else. So I think those guys definitely deserve a time credit, because as you can see on that video today, you could have got around that truck, but they stopped and got out of their heart to take care of that guy, because that was the most important thing. So all of us, we were a good 400, 500 yards up the hill from where the actual incident was. And so we were all out of our cars, sitting there just chatting. So we didn't really deserve a time credit because we didn't help with it because there was enough people down there to take care of it.
So yeah, just hearing that, first of all, gives me chills because I can't thank the dudes enough for going and helping that other driver. Like that means the world to me, like just as a moral human being, right? Like that's so cool. All right, well, so let's get back to the racing because like I feel like that's what all of us want to talk about, right? First of all, congratulations, Austin, for winning. You and Brandon were battling so hard. So maybe you guys can go back and forth and give us a little bit of the inside scoop on each one of your races so we can understand how you guys
At the start of the race, Brandon and I were talking when we were lining up, and he's all, my plan today is to stick on your bumper all the way through, then pass you at the end and win it. So we I'll make sure you move everyone as far as possible so I can get him off the course and I can get right by him. So pretty much it was a race from the start. I pushed pretty hard at the start. When we got to mile 102 at the bottleneck, I think I was sitting fourth physically, right behind Wes Miller, Garcia, and then Cognito. I don't know where Brandon was, but we pushed hard from there, and then we got down in San Felipe, and it was the wildest thing I've ever driven through because it was bumper to bumper all the way down the rest of the summit, and then once we got down to San Felipe, it was just a flood of cars, and I doored a 10 car. I hit the rear fender of Herp's truck, and then the lake bed, you couldn't even see your front bumper in the lake bed. So it was wild. It was fun.
Brandon, like Skylar, like I feel like that is like the worst case scenario to have all the right like in the same spot after the summit. Like that shouldn't be any worse.
That was definitely the worst.
We got stuck in a second bottleneck right after that first one. So we were really with Austin at that point because there was a lot of cars that got ahead of us. There was another truck in front of us that got stuck on the hill also in front of us. So then we were in another pile up for a few minutes. It wasn't nearly as long as the first one.
Dude, that's crazy. I mean, Brandon, like, how do you navigate like that? Okay, we're going to start getting clean air. Like, it just changes.
What was the question?
Right? Like, it just changes your whole strategy, right? Like, you have to, like...
Yeah, definitely. I would have been perfectly happy if the bottleneck never happened, to be honest. It definitely would have just played out a lot better. Like I said, re-racking everybody at Race Mile 100 right there before San Felipe where it got extremely dusty. Fortunately, San Felipe had quite a few lines, but it was extremely dusty. It was way more silty than it was when we pre-ran. So, I mean, that was like worst case scenario. I mean, it was kind of wild. Like I said, the one good thing was I got out of the car, got to relax a little bit and walk around, stretch. I guess I forgot to eat. Austin was telling me he sat there and ate a sandwich. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I had leftover breakfast in my door bag. I had to eat some breakfast claws, drink some water, had a Cliff Bar. It was a nice little break.
Yes. And then I forgot to eat. I was just enjoying talking to everybody, being out of the car. I forgot to drink water. So, I mean, besides getting out of the car and stretching, that was the only advantage I had. I saw other people walking around with sandwiches. I was pretty bummed. I asked some guy to share a sandwich with me.
Yeah, man. That's hilarious. All right. So, well, let's kind of wind this down here. First of all, both of you guys, all of you guys drove like an amazing race. Like when I saw you guys at the different pits, like you guys were really doing it well. Like you guys were managing the race well. The way that you guys handled the logistical portion of it was really good. Being able to pivot on the fly like that when you had to change your guys' race strategy, I'm sure it changed everything. I'm sure it probably changed fuel. It probably changed everything because we changed everything in Caden Wells' program. Like, so I could only imagine things that you guys had to change. So kudos to you guys for doing that. Since we're going to wind down the interview, though, let's go through. Brandon, you go first, then Skylar, Austin. What was my favorite
tacos? I mean, I only got to try two different tacos. I had Valley Tea tacos, and then I had tacos right outside of my hotel, which is at the Baja there in town. So I'm going to have to be honest. I'm going to say the ones outside the Baja. I wasn't really happy with the Valley Tea ones this year.
Oh,
I
dude!
do like Valley T one.
Big Valley T guy over here with Mila,
It's probably
dude.
because we're so
The
tired.
I did stop there during pre-running. It was
You
good.
think?
Actually, never mind. I take that back. Nope, they lost. They lost, actually. It was definitely the tacos anywhere but there. And I'm usually a big Valley T fan, too.
Oh, that's horrible.
So,
Dude, I was kind of bummed on Valley T too because we went like about 8 times and every time they were closed. They told me the dude doesn't
Same
open
for
until
me.
like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
dang, well, you guys got a pre-run later.
Yeah, way to wake up early, right? And try to get it done. Skylar,
I only ate at one taco shop across from Baja this time, so.
Skylar didn't pre-run with me. I had one of my other buddies pre-run with me. Skylar just showed up and raced.
Yeah, did the work.
Oh, dude. So he just VIP?
Yeah, he just showed up in his private jet and hopped in the race car.
That's the way to do it.
All right. Austin, what
I'd
was your
say
favorite
I had
tacos,
the
homie?
queso taco at El Trailero and got it with adobada, and that was by far the best one of the week.
That one sounds pretty bomb.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back down there
that's
just for that right now.
That's a good one.
Those are good.
Just have a lunch plan and go down to Valley T.
It's not that far.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're just trying to wind it down. Maybe throw a shout out or just tell us the last kind of final thing that you want to talk about.
Man, also I'm hoping to debut that at maybe Vegas or Reno. I don't know. We'll see how everything shakes up. Maybe I'll take a couple days off this summer, enjoy life a little bit. It's been pretty wild. But yeah, I've got a busy next couple months coming up, and we're going to be at Vegas Reno next.
Yeah.
Dude, sweet. So we'll see you in Reno for sure. All right, Skylar, your turn, buddy.
Let's go.
Dude.
Well, I'm happy out of everybody that Austin beat us. If it had somebody, so I was pretty jealous of you drinking beer at race mile, 300 or something.
320.
But that's all right. It was a rough race, and I think we finished strong, so happy for it.
I made sure I put my shorts on before you guys came by so you could see the lead we had.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I really thoroughly enjoyed watching you do that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Is that like a big flex, like to
huge flex, dude.
like change into your like street clothes before they get there?
That would have been a good one.
Dude. All right, Brandon. So that's the big flex next time. Next time you win at the next race, you'd have swim trunks and flip flops just ready.
I'll bring a 5-gallon bucket and climb in it, full of water with my swimming trunks on.
Or, dude, you know what you could do is you could fake it too and have somebody give you a half-eaten taco. And be like, yeah, dude, I've been chilling.
I'm gonna have to floor it then to stay in front of Austin. He's fast.
All right, Austin, throw a shout out.
That was a fun race. I remember all day long I kept trying to shake Brandon, and my dad kept getting on the sat radio being, he's still there, and so it was fun battling with him all day. It's always fun battling with them, and I was happy to get the win. It's our first 500 win in our second try, so I was stoked on that, and looking forward to the rest of the season to see what it brings.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, like I said before, like on a serious note, you guys, all three of you guys here, and obviously your co-driver Austin, everybody with you guys. You guys did a fantastic job. That race was not easy. It was really, really difficult. The track was difficult. All of the things that you guys lapped to make it, you guys had even more during the race. Just makes me that much prouder of you guys for coming home first and second or first and third, however the score thing does. But congratulations.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
No problem. All right. We'll see you boys later. Back to it. Man, dude, those challenges, like just thinking about it, those challenges are so gnarly.
Yeah, the mental game that goes along with it. Once you have that, then you have to go into the mental game. Okay, so now what are we going to do? And then you have to adjust on the fly. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, like what is like a good way to put it, like pivoting on the fly?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get Emma Cornwell and Caden Wells on here in just a second. So if you guys are watching, try to join the feed, or I can also send you guys a request too. So I don't know how to get this other one off of here. Is that Austin? No, Brandon or Skylar's got to log out. There we go. Okay, so yeah, Caden and Emma, try to join the feed now so we can get you guys hanging out.
Yeah, it was hot too. I mean, geez, that's the whole fourth element to this whole thing, the heat.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Hey guys, haven't seen you in a long time. So a third place finishers, Emma Cornwell and Caden Wells here. I don't know if you guys have met Mila before.
Hi.
Nope.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Can you guys hear Mila pretty good when I hold the phone right here?
Mic check,
It was all right.
Check. No.
All right, I'll put the phone closer to him when we talk. All right, so congratulations for your guys' third place finish. Man, just like Brandon and Austin and Sky were saying, like that race was so gnarly.
Yeah, it's probably the roughest 500 we've done for sure. We haven't done a whole lot of them, but I think it was probably one of the roughest races we've done.
So, being that I'm going to throw a big flex for Caden right here. Being that you're a multi-time Baja champion, how does it compare to some of the other races?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
We did the.
It's so much harder in Mexico. It's more gratifying when you win in Mexico than in the States, in my opinion.
Oh, dude, no, he's a multi-time Baja champion.
No, I know. But compared to like in the States, it's way better when you win multi-time.
Oh yeah. But how did this one compare to the other races that you've won in Mexico, or some of the other races that you've had in Mexico?
This one was for sure like the most challenging probably we've had during a Mexico race, but we had our few issues. But other than that, the car held together good, and I mean, I don't think we had any actual mess ups on the course. Just our car falling apart a little bit.
All right, so Emma, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about, and then we'll get Caden back to talk about what issues you guys have with the car. So when you go into the race, Emma, like this, you obviously have a strategy, and you get thrown like different ways. You had a bottleneck. The course was a lot gnarlier than when you pre-ran. Maybe the race car has issues, which we'll talk about later. Like, how do you guys handle that?
Well, like you said, from pre-running, like we have all these notes and stuff, and then hearing the people before talk about like that second little pile up after the bottleneck, like totally brought back memories because we hit the bottleneck and I was like, oh man, like there it is. And then the second one's like, oh, come on. And really we just stuck to our notes, and like in the beginning, one guy was on our line, like the little area we wanted to be down this trail, and it kind of caused us a problem. But, like you kind of just adjust, and I totally trust him driving. So I'll just keep talking about what's next, and he handles like what we're doing at that moment, really.
That's a good dynamic. Like between the co-driver and the driver. So Emma's the co-driver. She does a fantastic job, and Caden obviously does a good job wheeling it. But if you were in that position, you would handle it the same way?
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right, Caden. So what were the things that happened in the race that you were able to overcome? Maybe car issues or inside the car?
The first issue we had, I don't know if my knee or what happened. We got kind of a little tipped over almost, and I think my knee hit the fuel pump switch and kind of busted it on the dash. And so we drove about 35 miles on the start of the race, one-handed, one holding the switch and the other one holding the wheel. But then...
Oh, so to control the fuel pump, you had to hold it to the second.
Yeah, and like you had a great idea of using duct tape, but he was literally pushing down so hard on it, like duct tape wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
His hand was cramping.
When we were going through...
Dude, so flexing the muscle with the finger, huh?
Indentation in your finger from it?
Yeah, it's stuck.
No,
you hear what Keith said?
Right.
I said, did you still have an indentation on your finger?
I was like, I slid my hand like next to the edge of the dash and like wedged a couple fingers in like between the dash and the door panel, and then like 2 fingers on a switch above it to like stabilize, and the other finger, because it wasn't like it just needed held over. Like if I moved it up too much, it wouldn't work, or if I moved it down too much, it wouldn't work either. It had to be like right centered.
And that like first 70 miles
Dude,
was
you
so
probably had
rough.
to crank on that thing, huh? Well,
Yeah.
so 70 miles one-handed, holding the switch down, and then all right, so you get to the pits, and you get that fixed. Like we were able to get you fuel, and then switch fixed, and then we got you guys, water and all the good stuff, and then you take off, and then what's the next portion of the race?
What was the last part? I kind of skipped out.
Sorry, we got good internet, but Instagram just hates us today, like hates us. So you had all of the stuff that you had switch failing, and then you go 70 miles with one hand, and then you get to the next pit stop. We got all that fixed. What happens in the next?
We hit the bottleneck. I think everyone hit the bottleneck pretty much, but then got through there. Ended up getting the bottleneck helped us for catching back up after our switch issue, and then ended up getting back in the lead. And then around 240, both rear axles were out, and we changed the power steering unit. And when we changed that, the bracket holding the power steering unit was cracked, and welded that up. And then we ended up going up mics, and still wasn't a fix for the issue. Might be the ECU, I'm not sure, but ended up turning the power steering off and just kept going to the finish.
You make it sound so easy. Like you make it sound like really nothing went on there. Like Emma, you can probably agree with me on this one. Driving any car on the street, let alone Baja, with no power steering.
Yeah. At
difficult.
The end, we're like driving on the highway after timing into like the ceremonial finish. And he's like, feel the steering wheel. And I go to turn the corner and I'm like, oh my gosh, like literally reaching over to do two-handed pulling it over. And I'm like, you've been fighting this for the past 200 miles? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what?
Dude, like Godzilla arms just to be able to steering wheel, let alone race 3/4 of a Baja 500.
And honestly, like I wouldn't, like there was times where I completely even forgot that we didn't have power steering. Like it wasn't noticeable. And then I'd be like, oh my God, his arms must be dying. And then I don't know. It was pretty incredible.
How do your arms feel today?
A little bit more sore probably today than yesterday, but now I can feel it like in my shoulders and everything. Like pretty much from my shoulder to my fingertips were sore yesterday pretty bad, but now it's more in like my shoulder.
Have you ever had any issues like that? Like,
yeah, only trophy truck. So those poor guys that drive the trophy truck with no power steering, it's pretty difficult.
So kudos to Caden.
Very much so.
All right. So all of that being said, congratulations on doing so well in the race. There was some mix-ups in the timing and things like that we obviously talked about Brandon and Skylar and Austin with, but those are all going to get worked out by score. But you guys did really, really well. I mean, facing all that adversity, you guys were what? I don't know. Let's just estimate it 40 to 50 minutes down with the different issues that you guys had, and you guys still were able to pull off a solid finish.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a long race, so anything can happen. And then after the issues, I mean, they kind of get you fired up a little bit and pushing harder to catch up. And either you're
do it one or two ways. You can either get all upset and start freaking out, or you just like buckle down and be like, hey, dude, we're in survival mode. Let's keep pushing.
Yeah,
and it sounds like that's what you did.
You really did. Emma, you got it. Like, Caden is so humble about all this stuff. Like, I love you so much, dude. But, like, seriously, you guys did great. Like, you guys did fantastic. So, Emma, like, how did you feel about it when you guys crossed the finish?
Oh, I was stoked. And, like, looking back now, like, what, a day or two later, talking about it, I'm like, that was so fun. Like, I can't wait to go back. But in the moment, you're kind of afraid, like, is this going to get fixed? What's going to happen? Like, is the race over? You know, you're kind of worried. But then we get back in the car and get going. Caden's like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, it's exciting, and now even thinking about it now, it's exciting. But at the finish, definitely was like, oh, thank goodness, like we made it. And when we were moving so fast. It was fun. Like there was no question. And then when you stop, it's like, oh, geez.
Yeah, totally. So, Caden, like when you're going through that portion of the race, like at the end, are you just thinking about getting tacos? Because I have something else to follow up with.
I wasn't really thinking about getting tacos until like I didn't think anywhere would be open after the race, but the original taco or whatever was open, so had to pull in there.
Yeah, so I posted a picture about it and they shared it on their stories as well. So we were all sitting there at the finish line, like, okay, like the race is over. Congratulations. They did all great. Like now everybody's starving because we've been out doing all kinds of stuff all day. And your dad asked me, he's like, hey, do you want me to have the boys go get some tacos? We're like, yeah, sure. Like that'll be cool. So Jonathan, one of the guys that was on your guys' crew, went to go order 40 tacos for the whole crew. And then Caden calls me on the phone. Why we're driving back to the house. He's like, hey, Tacos Original is open. Like, you guys want to come by? Of course we want to come by, dude. So we pull up, and the race car is parked right underneath the sign, waiting for all of us to go get tacos. Like, it couldn't have been a better ending to the night, dude. Like, you freaking nailed it with
It
your
was
crew.
pretty good, too. It tasted probably better than the other day.
Yeah, I agree.
So Tacos Original after the Baja 500
Best taco of the day, I'm sure.
tastes way better. Oh man, that was like the cap to the whole race, dude. You guys did an amazing job. All right, how about let's ask this before we ask you what your best tacos were, because it sounds like we already know the answer. If you could change anything for the whole race or the whole day, what would you change to make it a better race?
Do you want me to go first?
Let's let Emma go first because girls are supposed to go first.
Well, obviously not having the power steering issue. Other than that, I would say it was like pretty clean race. We were on top of it with our lines, our VCPs and stuff. So I took the easy one, Kaden. Now, what's your choice?
Probably not switching the ECU over. We have a spare ECU, and we didn't end up doing that. It was probably my choice on that. I was trying to get back out on the track, and I don't know. I'm going to try it out probably tomorrow and see if the ECU makes the steering go back to regular, and that'll be a bummer if it was.
So, spoken like a true racer, everybody like has to diagnose the situation after. Like, is that what you do on the way home? You figure out what you could do better with the vehicle?
Always. And then you think about, while you're sleeping, you wake up, oh, maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll do this. Always thinking ahead.
Well, I think you guys did a fantastic job. You guys really executed a good race. I couldn't believe the fact that, well, in my opinion, I've never raced a Baja race before, but in my opinion, having that, you guys started what, like let's just say 30th or 40th in the UTVs, and by the time we saw you at mile close to 200, you guys were up in the top 10 in the entire UTV field in the NA car. I was very, very impressed by your guys.
I think the bottleneck helped with that one, but
this is him being humble again.
Again, being with the humble stuff. All right, we got to get, let's see, Caden Mack, I think, is coming up next. So we're going to get Caden McCackern on. But, dude, you guys did a fantastic job. Thank you very much to your whole team and everybody, your full family, for inviting me along with the journey. It was awesome to be able to hang out with you guys all weekend.
Seriously.
All right, well, thank you guys. We'll see you guys later. Man, the humbleness and the racing effort that everybody puts in, it's so cool to see how they all do it differently.
Very differently, yeah. Yeah, he's pretty mellow.
Dude, he is. So, Caden McCackern, if you're on, let me shoot you a invite here real quick. We'll get you going and talk about how your guys' race went, man. There we go. All right, so we'll get Caden Mack over here. See how his race went too. Manny boy, talk to you.
How are you, George?
Caden Mack, what's up, dude? We're doing good. We had some. This whole production thing kind of got jacked up, but we're on Instagram Live, just hanging out.
Pretty
with
good.
you.
Are you eating tacos
How
by
are you
chance
doing?
right now? I see you're eating something.
No, I had a Mexican.
Yeah, change it to the Food Life show instead of the Dirt Life show.
This guy has a
Maybe
fantastic
a second
idea. Maybe we
page.
should do that. Yeah, second page. What would your food preference be if we had a show like that? Would it be tacos, hamburgers? What would you be willing
I think
to
you got to do
lend
like
advice on?
different different genres of food every week. You pick Mexican, Italian, Greek, French. I don't know. Cheeseburgers one week for sure though. Italian tacos, spaghetti tacos. You never had a spaghetti taco?
Ooh, that sounds fantastic. Caden Mack just laid out a whole business plan for us.
Yeah, I need the
thanks,
royalties.
buddy. I'll cut you in a little bit off it. All right. All right. So let's get down to business here. We had a couple other guests on: Brandon Sims, Austin Whelan, Skylar Howe, Caden and Emma both came on. They all said pretty much the same thing. Roughest Baja 500 they've ever done. Would you agree with
maybe
that?
I've only done 2 Baja 500s. I've pre-ran quite a few more than that. I wouldn't say it was super rough. I think the heat, elevation, it wasn't a very long race, only being 460 miles. So I don't think it was that rough, but I'm a fan of the super rough races. So, I'm glad that they think it's rough. So I'm going to say it's not rough. It was probably technical, especially for the big trucks. They don't slow down nearly as fast as us little UTVs. So I know some corners can definitely catch you off guard and run off the road in a big truck. The UTVs, thankfully, we're very nimble. Small track width, 4-wheel drive, and we got some good power nowadays. So we get in and out of those hills pretty easily.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, right? Is like people consider the track completely different just by how they drive and their mindset. We're actually going to have Caden. You should come on next week too, because we're going to have an episode with talking about how to drive and technique and stuff like that behind the wheel. So when I hear you talk, it really makes me think that some of the stuff that you do behind the wheel of the car can change the way
Absolutely,
that the whole track
and a lot of
feels.
that in Baja, anyways, is due to how well your pre-running is and how much you're paying attention during pre-running. Because if you know the corner or you know the hill, you can set up quite a bit before, and you're able to maximize that corner and get all the time out of it that you can reliably.
That's a really good point.
I was going to say it's 2 different races. Also, when you're in the right seat and the left, it's completely different race. Same course and everything, but it's a completely different race.
All right, so maybe take us through the race a little bit. You're probably going to say similar things, mile 100, you got in the bottleneck and stuff like that.
Yeah, all week pre-running, I was kind of, my dad and I both thinking that it was going to be a super difficult race and tough race. So my game plan sitting, the night before in bed, ready to go to sleep, to wake up to go to the race, was to just take it easy in the beginning. I was going from the start to Valley T, mile 315, and Brandon Schuler was going to get in at 315 and go to the finish. So my plan was really take it easy, and that's what we did the first 90 miles. I had never been passed while moving in Mexico before this race. I think by mile 30, I'd been passed by 3 or 4 UTVs. I had to make sure, let the ego or whatever you want to call it go, and, let those guys just go and, wear their stuff out. We made it to mile 100, and I saw all the cars sitting there. I'm like, awesome. I went super slow to get here, and now we're all well, first thing you do is at a bottleneck, you get out and look, or you want to look, who's here. Did anybody make it ahead? And luckily, Pat had walked up there and made sure all the UTVs were there. So then your mindset switches from, you're worried about, 1 or 2 UTVs make it ahead of the bottleneck and have this huge lead on you. We're all there. So the race is restarted. Again, I took it easy the first 90 miles, just got there smoothly. I figured I had a really good car. And then the bottleneck cleared. We went down the hill and hit the gas in San Felipe. And unfortunately, it seemed like a fuel pump wasn't running very good. So we were limited to 45 miles an hour. When those things happen, you just got to relax and understand that those things do happen in desert racing. So we, even at limited to 45 or 50 miles an hour or whatever it was, we were still able to make quite a few passes. We lost a fair bit of time on Austin and Wes and Lambert, all those guys that got ahead of us. Got to 160 where our first fuel pit was. Bill Schuler, everybody knows Jagged Bill, was there with fuel, and we were able to switch the fuel pumps. It has 2 fuel pumps, but unfortunately it doesn't have a switch. You got to unplug them and plug them back in. Got that fixed, started running again, And unfortunately, again, I hate to say it, but it seemed like the problem wasn't fixed. So I had Pat Stone, my co-rider, get out and make sure that the fuel pumps were switched, and because it's hard to see down there above the fuel cell. Make sure that we were switching to the right connector, not the same one back in. Don't plug the same fuel pump back in. Switch to the other one, went another 5 miles or so, and all of a sudden it lit up and it had full power again. So that was maybe 1 mile 180, and from there I knew we had, those Weiland and Sims and Lambert. Those guys are, 15 to 20 minutes ahead of us. I knew we had to make it some time if we wanted a good finish. So, we put the hammer down. I had some good lines there in San Felipe. We were able to make up, quite a bit of time, maybe 7 to 8 minutes from 160 to when I got out 315. Brandon Schuler got in and went to the finish, and I believe he made up time too. No flats on BFG tires. It was a really easy race to probably get a flat. There were a lot of rocks that would jump out in front of you, or rocks that were knocked into the road from the cars in front of you that you don't even know are there. To avoid all those, and sometimes you don't avoid them and you just got to take the impact of the tire. But to have no flats and any other issues other than that, especially we were on all Polaris Turbo S stock suspension, axles, radius rods, everything. So that stuff's very proven in Baja. We've done with Jagged X team. We've done that for the last year and a half, and we've had some very good results running stock components, which a lot of people on different manufacturers definitely cannot say.
Yeah, and you program too. I know that's pretty cool that you guys have that ability to keep that stock equipment alive. So during the race, like when it becomes a rough race, such a race that you have to pivot so many times. I'm going to keep using that word, I guess, today, because there's so many changes, right? The bottleneck changes. Now you have these little issues with the vehicle that you have to change. What is going through your head? Because I've watched you physically on course, and you're making up time, and then you kind of fell back, and then you're making up time, and you kind of like, what's going through your head to make it so that you have the best race in your hand?
To me, this race, I really focused on staying centered, behind the steering wheel, and just very level-headed. Don't get excited. Don't get too down on yourself. Because especially in that UTV class, there's a lot of opportunity to make up time, lose time. I come from trophy truck racing, where if you get a flat tire, you're probably not winning, or you're not. It'll be difficult to win. So to understand that and don't get ahead of yourself was very important. I believe we did that very well. Even taking notes from the team owner, Brandon Schuler. He's started UTV racing in 2007, has won a lot of races, and he drives very level-headed, doesn't get ahead of himself. And same with my dad, Rob. He's never really the fastest in the first 100 miles, but he's always there at the end. Trying to take notes on those guys and make myself a better racer.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Mila?
You always forget about the past. Just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Like he said, he's got a problem. He's thinking, okay, I'm just going to switch some fuel pumps. I'm just going to keep charging. Oh, it cleared up. Now I can make up some time. And you just forget about the bad stuff and keep moving.
Have you ever heard that? Like they say that in dirt bike racing too. You never forget about the last corner. You forget about or you think about the next corner.
Don't look in the always. Yeah, it's a very good saying in life, just to keep moving forward. And yeah, that was what we did, and it seemed to lead us to a pretty good result.
Yeah, totally. What were some of the things that happened during the race that maybe some of the people that, like myself or any of the audience?
To me, it was honestly a pretty simple, boring race, and that's what we wish for as racers: is boring races. After the bottleneck got cleared up, we got to San Felipe. Unfortunately, I had those fuel pump issues and wasn't able to make up a ton of positions, so that took some of the excitement out of it. But other than that, I remember getting in the chase truck, and my most exciting part of the race was probably getting in the chase truck. And Bill told me my dad won the race, which I was shocked. I don't want to say that in a mean way, but nowadays with all the big budget teams, it's definitely not it's definitely not easy to win those races. So to learn that he did that was pretty shocking and amazing to me.
Yeah, and so both of us learned that. Like, I was, I mean, I guess you could say, like, I was shocked too, because we saw, like, we couldn't catch up to any trophy guys. They're so fast, right? But, like, during that first portion of the race at Ojos, like, we saw the guys come through, and there was 2 4-wheel drive trucks out front. And I saw your dad, and I was like, yeah, man, he's doing good. Like, I'm always cheering your dad and you on, right? But when I heard that, I was like, no freaking way. And I literally, when I was standing there next to the chase truck, I started screaming.
I did the same thing, and everybody thought I was probably crazy, but that's what my mind told me to do, and I did it, and it felt good.
Exactly. Like I had some people look like, oh, something's going on. Like, what's wrong? And I was just so pumped, man. So it was cool. So please tell your dad congratulations. That was awesome for him. But let's get back to your race. So Brandon got in the car.
We were, I believe, fourth or fifth on the road when Brandon got in. I know we got passed in the pit by Mark Burnett. And I knew from pre-running, I pre-ran the whole course with my dad, obviously, that last 120 miles was not like any other Baja race, 120 miles. It was a very, very, very gnarly 120 miles, and I was super happy that we made the driver change what we did, because it was probably a huge advantage having a fresh mind and not tired eyes through that last, especially at night, going up and down those mountains and the hills, and rain that's a European is super difficult. So yeah, he did awesome. I'm very happy to race with him. He's a great partner to race with.
Do you think you guys are going to be doing some more
Absolutely.
Baja
I believe our plan is to race the Baja 400 in September, and again the 1,000 in November, and of course the whole year leads up to the Baja 1,000. Everybody says that, so we're really eyeing that one to win.
Dude, I'm just stoked on all the stuff that you guys have been doing, and congratulations on all the other stuff you've been doing too. We're talking about the Baja 500, but you've been doing really well.
Yeah, we have some maybe exciting things happening in the next 2 weeks at a race coming up, and we'll save to announce those a little later. Hopefully, it all comes to plan, but I'm super excited for whatever that is, and yep, we're gonna keep trying hard and working at it.
Caden with the teaser. I love it, dude. I can't wait to hear what's going on, man. That's going to be awesome to see. And I just like the progression that you're having just in your racing career in general, man, because you're doing so well and you're getting the opportunities like to drive with the Jagged X guys. And it's just really meaningful to me for you to be such a young driver and just being such a sponge and taking in all the information.
Self-aware is what I noticed, right? Obviously, you have a great father, or a great mentor, but just at that age staying centered. That's the hardest part. I've ridden with a lot of dudes, a lot of big names that will punch the dash and start screaming. They can't shake the negative and just move forward. It's amazing.
Go ahead.
So talk a little bit more about that then. So what do you mean when you say centered? Like, let's just use this as a little education for some of the younger
staying centered to me would mean, don't get ahead of yourself. Drive in the moment, drive what you can see. Don't think of what was behind you. Don't think about what was in front of you, because it all can change in an instant. If you stay, centered in your mind, you remember things better, you think about things better, you think about things thorough, and you don't make spur of the moment decisions, which are normally, especially in a race car, it's so hectic all the time that you make the wrong decisions when you make hectic ones. So it's really important not to do those things and keep moving forward.
Dude, wise words.
It's like when you're going and you're leading and you're like, I'm gonna win this, and then all of a sudden, dude, something happens because you're not centered.
Yeah, so stay in that. Well, thank you very much for sharing that advice to the younger racers and the people that are watching the show, dude. We appreciate it. All right, so final question, man. What were the best tacos that you guys had?
So I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I think I found a new little taco spot somewhere in a rural area of between Ensenada and San Felipe, and I might have to keep it secret so it doesn't get too blown up. I can maybe DM you personally, but I don't want it to get too blown up. Maybe it might be in Valley T somewhere, not all the way down to the taco spot everybody knows, and it's in Valley T on the left before the taco shop. So if you can find it, go get some. They even have like shredded chicken tacos there, and they're very good too. I know some people, even my dad was nervous about eating the chicken tacos, but they looked fine. They tasted amazing.
Dude, big shredded chicken guy right here too. So, well, thank you very much for coming on and hanging out, dude. Always a pleasure to talk with you and your dad, consummate professional. So I'm really proud of you for all the stuff that you guys did at this race, obviously, and the stuff that you're doing.
I want to, I want to thank the Jagged X team. It's not very easy to have such a powerhouse team like they did. And in the beginning of 2021, invite me, who was a kid with a name, to come drive their car, and it can go bad very quick. We've seen it with other forms of racing when the up and coming, even motocross, the up and coming kid gets to the pro ranks and doesn't do very well. So I've been really focusing on trying to do good for all of them. They had this race, I believe, maybe 8 to 10 guys who all sacrificed their time to come down to Baja and pit and help chase us. Polaris Razor sends an engineer from, I believe, Minnesota or somewhere. His name's Jake. I'm pretty sure Minnesota, to come down there and help us. So that's also awesome. Yeah, Polaris Razor, that car is amazing. Again, the bottlenecks, there's very few of those we get to that we can't just drive around. Last year's 500, there was quite a few in the silt that it wasn't even an issue for us, and all the 10 cars in the 6100s were stuck. BF Goodrich Tires won the overall of the race, won my class. Unfortunately, we couldn't win Pro Turbo, but in the end, Austin Weiland, he's a great driver, and he drives really fast, and he's going to be really hard to beat the rest of the year. He's on BFG tires. We had no flats. Fox, that course was rough. I don't believe it was the roughest course I've ever seen, but it handled it great. But yeah, really, the Jagged X team, they're amazing people. If you haven't got to hang out with them, really a lot of people probably have got to hang out with them and get the experience, especially them in Baja. They're a really fun group of people to be around. Very excited to race, and yeah.
One of the things that I just understood is that, like, he's a sponge right now. Like, all of the opportunities getting, he just learned.
I just like how humble he is. Like he said, it's so easy to take that name and go, but no, he's just chill and humble, and
he's doing his own
driving,
thing. Yeah.
Just do his thing, dude. I like that.
Let him speak for himself. Well, you're kicking ass, dude. We really appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us. What's next for Caden, other than this reveal that we got?
Of course, there's work races going on. The Baja 400, work, unfortunately, the day job or the night job it is right now. Got to go to work in about 2 hours, which sucks, but I'll do anyway. Just keep what you guys are saying about being a sponge. Obviously, it's done good for me, and that's important to me. I try to, I don't know the phrase, I guess I can word it in my head, is I try to talk with open ears, or walk into a room with very open ears and listen to what they say and how they say it. Luckily I'm around my dad a lot. With that, I'm around the McMillans, a lot of other people that are very successful in our sport. I got to shake hands with Ivan Stewart this weekend. I had my dad introduce me to him. I thought that was, pretty awesome. I wasn't even really alive when he was dominating, but I've seen the videos and I watch those events on YouTube all the time. And he's a true legend of our sport. And of course, just trying to listen to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, totally. I love that you're doing that, man, because that's going to make you such a better driver in the future. So keep up the good work, man. Tell your dad congratulations. And clearly, dude, we'd like to see you back.
Hopefully next time I'm on the show, it's because we won something and not a podium. But, we're working really hard to get there. And I believe we have all the objects in place to do it. We just got to, find our day. And fortunately, the 500 wasn't quite our day almost, but it will be soon. I'm confident in it.
Dude, Baja is so gnarly.
Absolutely.
You take it when you can get it, right? All right. Congratulations, dude. Again, please tell your dad congratulations.
Thank you. Will do.
Too.
See you,
Say
George.
hi to everybody. Later, man. Dude, some of the things that impress me, like, so much is the younger generation still, like, I don't know, maybe is it just off-road in general? Like, the humbleness and the respect that they have for life.
I think it's because they have to work hard, right? So you have to work hard to get somewhere in off-road. It's generally not handed to you. So it kind of brings you down a level to appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. All right, so let's see here. We're going to get Max Eddy on now. And sorry we're running a little bit behind, guys, but we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and listening to all this cool Baja talk, man. Now you guys know all the good places to get tacos, too,
I've
right?
actually eaten at that place that he was talking about. It's
pretty good. Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we don't know exactly where it is, do we?
I do.
Oh, okay. So you were the sponge listening to what he said, and I forgot.
Well, as soon as he described it, I kind of knew where it was at.
Yeah, exactly. Cascade Motorsports, what's up, guys? Still some of the most solid guys out there racing, too. So we'll see if Max can jump on here with us, too.
Max suicide drive home right after the race.
Dude, that's crazy.
He got
didn't
out
even
of the
take
car,
off his
put it on
gear.
the trailer, and went home.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't even take off his gear, dude. If we can't get Max on, we're going to move on to, let's see here. Ethan Ebert and Joe Whining are going to come on and hang out with us. Fantastic drive by the young Ethan Ebert. It was his first time doing Baja, too.
I remember my first time. It was a good time.
It was? Was it gnarly? Like you're scared?
No, I went
or
down as a spectator.
Oh, did you? What was your first time racing then?
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember it? Like, were you scared?
No, nervous. I think the first time I raced Baja, not in the States, was with Tisco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Because
cool.
we always raced in the States, and then Tisco was the first team I raced with. I raced in Mexico.
Edward 8, I'm not going to be the one that answers the question on any news on the Terribles incident. I think everybody's trying to make sure that they do as well as possible, get healed up, all that stuff. So, but if you guys want to say anything, you guys are more than welcome to mention in the comments and stuff right now. But I don't want to be the one that gives information or bad information out. So, all right. Yeah. And plus, it's human lives right here. So we're talking about. So I'd like to respect all of them as well. Let's see here. All right, let me see if we can get Ethan Eber and Joe Whining on here real quick. We'll talk to them about Ethan's first Baja 500, man. Super cool to see, though. I love the Ebert family.
Yeah. What's up, boss?
Ethan going down.
Good.
How are you? So we had some Instagram, so we're just kind of holding the phone, doing it like normal.
Oh, yeah.
We got the whole setup here. It's a no-go, though.
Buggy or what?
Let's wait for Joe to come on and join, then we'll start talking about the race. But are you back in?
We got here yesterday, so we're just chilling right now, unloading all the trailers and making sure everything's all good.
How was it crossing the border?
Dude, ours was so gnarly too. I think we were there for like 3 hours probably, just kind of sitting and waiting. So yeah, no, it was definitely really crazy.
Did you?
Oh yeah, dude, there's people selling things everywhere. Like they're coming up and down. Like one caught my eye. I was like, ooh, those look like some good churros. But the Honda guys are like, dude, they're so greasy. It was a bad choice for them. So.
Yeah, totally. All right, Joe Whining just tried to join us. Joe, go ahead and update your Instagram app on your phone. Jeff Proctor is going to come on here too. Hang out with us a little bit. So let's get a little bit of an understanding or a baseline. So you took your whole family, or your whole family took over to Mexico. It was your
first time ever going
there, right?
to Ensenada. So, and just racing for Baja. So yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey guys, I'm doing great.
Jeff? How
Thank
are you, bud? Man, long last couple weeks, we'll call it, right? Like it's just always grueling times, and good to be home with your family after.
I think your own bed feels about 10 times better than you thought it did after a week in Baja. But there's always that push before too. But I think Ricky Johnson said it best. When he said, Baja, you love it, you hate it, you love it, you hate it. You can't wait to get home. And then when you get home, you're like, I can't wait to get back to Baja. Yeah. I mean, that was the best statement I've ever heard about the place. Love it and I hate it.
Yeah. Hey, so I don't know, Jeff, have you ever met Mila?
Are you kidding me? I love that cat. Hey, Mila. Just
hey, Jeff.
Great mechanics, fabricator, Mila, salt of the earth, good guy on top of being talented. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Well, I could tell you right now, he's a fantastic co-host. He knows way more about Baja than I do, so it's like a perfect situation for this guy. Okay, so Joe, I don't know if Yesenia can help you at all, but update the Instagram app on whatever connection you guys or whatever phone you guys are using, and you'll probably be able to connect without any issues.
Joe just dated himself.
Jeff, let's Jeff, let's get a little bit of a baseline and understanding of the program that you have with Ethan. Ethan is a driver that's in development for the Honda off-road team, and he got the opportunity to come down to Baja.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited. We've been talking a lot about putting together a driver development program to bring young talent into the Honda racing family at a pro level. It's not any different than what you see at the amateur motocross level with a lot of the, with Team Green and what they're doing with, the KTM guys, the Orange Brigade, as they kind of prepare to go to Loretta Lynn's, et cetera. And so we're kind of, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're taking a page out of motocross and saying, hey, there's a lot of young talent out there that came up into trophy carts and was racing short course. We all know that kind of on the West Coast, I think I might be crucified for saying this, but short course is dead. And so you've got a lot of young talent that can drive an off-road car that needs to find a home in endurance desert racing, because that's where the action's at these days. So, we began to build this program, and, with help of Ethan and his incredible family, we were able to put together a driver development program. And essentially what that means is that, he just turned 16 and he got the credentials to race and score, which you have to get special permission to. So he got that. But essentially what it means that as a youth development driver, you're a part of the team. You have access to all of our factory works parts, everything that we're using to make Zach Size Love get to the finish line. Ethan has the capability of having access to all of that, including, tuning and everything else that we do to make these cars perform. So it's a really cool opportunity for young talent to get a taste of racing with the pros in the pro UTV category.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good position for Honda to be in too, with the Honda talent, so that you can offer that to all the younger drivers. But so one of the things that I was going to mention, just because Joe got it worked out, is welcome Joe Whining to the show. Joe is working with you guys in the Honda Driver Development Program. And, man, Ethan has to be a sponge listening to Joe, because Joe's got a lot of time in the race.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Joe. Man, so it's got to be a little bit different for both of you on the bottom of the screen, Jeff and Joe, because Ethan is new to all of this stuff. How do you guys approach that? Let's let Joe go first, and then Jeff, you answer. How do you guys approach that, being that it's his first time? Well, he's a new desert racer, and it's his first time going down to Mexico and doing a
as you were saying earlier, the younger talent, especially Ethan, Ethan's like a sponge. He's trying to soak it all in, and he listens really well, even though it's frustrating, because you want to go. But, of course, this long distance desert stuff, you can't just go. You got to be patient. You got to save the car. And, so Ethan does really well. It's very impressive.
Without giving away any secrets, Joe, what are the conversations that you have going into the race?
Pretty much our plan is pretty much, let's just get it to the finish, and kind of get it over halfway throughout the race and see where we're at and see if we can push or if we can't push, and kind of just go from there. But taking baby steps along the way. I'm not real sure how hard we can push the car. I feel we're pushing it pretty hard, but we haven't won yet. So maybe we can push even harder. So it's just it's kind of a learning curve for both of us. More for Ethan, though, just getting him to understand what the car's capable of, and obviously what Baja can do to you, because it can turn you upside down quick.
Yeah, totally. And on the other end of the spectrum, Jeff, and then we'll let Ethan kind of get into giving us the details on how he performed. But on the other end of the spectrum, being the team owner and understanding how Baja has treated the Honda Talons, how do you go in and approach Ethan saying, do we just get it to the finish? Like, feel it out? Like, what are you kind of suggesting?
Yeah, so, well, first, let me say that Ethan is an incredible driver. And I think that kind of gets overlooked a little bit, because there's so much strategy and tactics that go into racing off-road. So he's an incredible driver. He's got 4 starts with us and 2 podiums and 4 starts. So I think my advice to Ethan right now is, hey, be patient. Your win is coming, and your win is right around the corner. Keep doing what you're doing, bud. But I think the big conversation for me with young athletes when they get into off-road is their experience is short course. So it's balls to the wall as fast as you can go for, the 30-minute moto, right? But when you get into desert racing, I mean, we're talking he could be behind the wheel for 6 to 9 to 12 hours. And he was. His finish time was 13 hours, but he did share some time. But the bottom line is that requires a level of patience that myself included, a lot of young people don't have. And so I think that that's a big part of the conversation, is to know when to push and know when to not take risks driving blind in the dust where you're going to push it off a cliff. You've got to know when to push and when not to.
Mila, you know a lot about that.
My whole thing as a co-dog is I always say, be patient, save your tires. Be patient. Because at the end, if you, like Caden said, if you're in the element and you're just going race mile by race mile and you're not looking ahead and you're forgetting about what's behind you, the race will come to you in the end. It always
Absolutely.
does.
I agree. The only caveat to that is that in side-by-side NA, we're typically not worried about our tires. One, because Max's tires are incredible, but two, we just don't have the horsepower to really roast them. So, a set of Max's tires will get us through an entire 500-mile Baja 1000 with no problem.
Hey, wait, I want to see the bracelet. Ethan, you just got a comment about a bracelet.
So Evan bought me this bracelet, and it's it's a Mexico bracelet. So
no, I don't want to see it. I saw no, I don't want to see that one. I saw way too many gnarly ones. Some of them.
I can thank Evan for this one. So yeah.
All right, so now that we broke the ice a little bit with the bracelet, thanks Evan for doing that. Ethan, give us a lowdown of how nervous you were going into this, and then
dude, I was so nervous. Like, even just like waking up, I was already nervous because I was like, oh, dude, I have to put on such a good performance. You know what I mean? So I can show everybody like I can actually drive a race car. You know what I mean? So I don't get looked down on because I'm a rookie. And that's the one thing that I'm trying to overcome right now, is showing everybody like I have the ability to win. But it's just really seeing how far we can push the car, like Joe said. And but it was definitely really nerve-wracking. Like, until we got the real start, it was definitely super nerve-wracking.
Yeah, like, what's the vibe down? Like, well, actually, you answer and then Joe answer. What's the vibe when you're sitting in the car, like, getting ready to go?
Oh, dude, I was just antsy. Like, I was like, oh, I gotta go, because they had us sit there for a while. So I was just like, oh, great. So I did this one start. Now you have to do the other one. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely like, oh, okay, I have to just be patient, like Joe was saying. Like, I think he told me to calm down a lot during the race, because I was in dust and I could see a car and I'm like, okay, go, and then Joe would notice that and he'd be like, hey, slow down. It's just one car. We can get out of there dust early. So yeah, it was definitely hard, but yeah, just antsy trying to get out there and race.
Dude, spoken like a young veteran. I guess that's a moron, right, Joe? But like, what are you doing? You're like, dude, chill out, bro.
It's like, calm down.
Smack him upside the back of his helmet.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, is there's so much risk in chasing somebody down in the dust. You get a stick in a tire, you get a rock in a tire, you hit a rock, you break, you know what I mean? It's tough to draw that line, because you're in the dust, you can see their light, so you want to push to get through that last 100 yards of dust. But at the same time, that's the most dangerous part. And over time, it comes to you, and like I say, it's tough being patient. It really is.
That's actually a really good point to bring up, is over time it comes to you, right? Like, so there's two things that I just heard in that. Like, over time it comes to you, like the car comes to you, right? And then you can slowly move around it. But also over time, he's going to grow into the position where he can understand that same thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, which he already has. He's, like I say, he's soaking it up and doing really well, and learning what the car's capable of doing and what it's not capable of doing. And therefore, he can check up when he knows he needs to check up, and we can try to go when we can go. So it's just been really good.
So, Jeff, if you're looking at this from an outside perspective or a 30,000-foot view, what kind of things do you suggest that Ethan, well, actually, give me two things. Give me something that he did good and something that he can...
Gosh, I think Ethan's on, like, the right trajectory. And it helps to have the level of professionalism in Joe as his navigator, because essentially Joe's his coach real time in the race car. And I don't think you can put a price on how valuable that is for a young athlete to have somebody like Joe. But I'd say, pros is Ethan's on the right trajectory. Keep doing what you're doing. And then the advice I'd give them is don't get so impatient for your first win. Your first win will come. I wouldn't push so hard for it. I just drive your car, learn the limits of your car, but it will come for sure. You have all the bones and the makings of a great race car driver, and that win will be there.
Very solid advice. And then, so like when you're thinking about the co-driving experience, can you agree with what Jeff's saying?
Oh, 100%. 100%. My whole thing when I'm co-driving is I try and keep my driver out of his own head, right? So at the beginning of the race, he was talking about the jitters. Well, I'm cracking jokes. I'm like, hey, man, whatever it takes to get him to be in his own zone. Because as a bike rider, we always drive and we ride better when we're in our own zone. We're not thinking about things. We're overthinking things. We're just having fun and driving. That's when we do it the best. So that's what I try and do as a co-dog.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. And Joe, you pretty much do that with Ethan.
Yeah, we try to keep it loose. And fortunately enough, this 500, we started out on a big highway section, and then we instantly went into a speed zone, and it kind of got the first 10-minute race jitters out of you. And then when we finally got out of speed zone, it was like, okay, now we're actually racing. Let's go do that. You know what I mean? And it seems like in the past, when you start right off the start at full speed, everybody's a mess for a little while until they gather their thoughts and they get their rhythm, I guess you would say.
That's why there's so many suspension parts laying on the side of the road after those races. All right, Ethan. So give me like a whole like rundown or like just the overall vibe.
Dude, it was so cool. Like we went down there a week early to start pre-running, and it was just awesome. Like the whole environment, like the terrain changes is what I really thought was cool about Baja, because it was like one time you'll be in like pine trees and like close tight trees, and then the next you'll be in like a white sandy desert with just whooped out everywhere. So I just thought it was really cool to see like all the different things and stuff for pre-running. And then obviously the food was really good too. Oh yeah,
big food guy over there. Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing that I would disagree with is I didn't care for the lake bed or San Felipe whoops at all. Like I like everything.
We didn't like the whoops either because they're just so gnarly. Like the trophy trucks, that's fine, whatever. But for us UTV guys, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like sometimes we would hit so hard we would buck the car up or we would bottom out. So, yeah, no, it was just the whoops were gnarly. Everything was gnarly. It's Baja, so.
What would you change about your race then? Like if you could have any critique on yourself?
Maybe to loosen up my back brace, because I had it so tight where it was like kind of making me sick going up the hill. So I was like, oh man, like me and Joe were fighting with that because we both just kind of got sick because it's that tight and rocky area. So that's where I was like, oh, it kind of sucks. Yeah. But yeah, no. And then maybe critique some driving, take care of the car a little bit better. And push it a little bit harder, find that fine line, and then kind of run alongside it.
Well, fun fact, we're going to have a technique episode coming up on this Monday talking about driving technique, rolling speed, how to maintain a car, and doing all that fun stuff. So, hey, if you want to, I know you're a professional, but you're more than welcome to
Dude, of course. Any tips you can learn in off-road racing is just better for you or better for the driver. So I'll take anything I can get right now.
Yeah, so like I said, congratulations. You guys had a fantastic race. I know there's some stuff the score is working on for the driver placements and stuff like that. Jeff, real quick before we let everybody go, is Zach going to be available?
Yeah, unfortunately, Zach is tied up with work. He's got a commitment that he can't get out of, unfortunately. So all I can say is Zach is a phenomenal driver. This is his second big win in a row, and he is the most laser-focused racer I have ever worked with. I mean, the man is an absolute machine, and I wish that everybody could get to know his personality. But unfortunately, he can't make the show tonight.
Well, let's give him a little bit of love then. So you all three had the ability or the opportunity to hang out with him for the last basically week and a half or so. Joe, what did you think about Zach?
Zach is I've met Zach quite a handful of times now, and every time I've met him, just like Jeff said, he is laser focused. He's pretty quiet, but he's focused on what he's doing. He's there to do a job, and he does it really well.
I call him the silent assassin.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you just don't.
really?
He's unassuming. You don't know. He's not a big personality. You don't know that he's there, but in his mind, he is going to win.
And for anybody that doesn't know, I had the opportunity to get a signed Honda Off-Road. It's basically a baseball card from the winner, Zach Seisler, before
limited edition.
The win in Baja. Yeah. So
I said it was a limited edition.
Yeah, say it again.
No, tripled in value.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, Ethan, what did you think
Dude,
about
Zach is such
Zach
a cool guy. Like, you can just go up and talk to him and have such a like cool conversation pretty much about anything. He's a really cool dude. Like, especially when we're testing, he'll give me tips and tricks on what to do and what not to do. So I really like him in that aspect and in every aspect, honestly. His personality is really cool. He's just a fun guy to be around.
So when you guys got to stand up on or get your interviews on the
podium, just to share the stage
huh?
with Zach is really cool because he's such a just really good driver. Like, I would like to get up to his skill one day just because he's that good of a driver. Like, even him telling me his strategy, I can't really understand because it's only like it's pretty much fit for him. You know what I mean? So he's a really good guy, and I just want to be like him one day.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so the whole week, you guys all got to spend time with your family, your friends, everybody. But, well, actually, let's ask this: how was it with your family down there, Ethan? Like, was it cool? Because they haven't been down there.
Yeah, it was really cool. You know, I mean, it was mainly just me, my dad, and Joe, and Jeff, obviously, in the crew where we were pre-running. But my mom and my sister, they stayed down at the beach. They went exploring everywhere, so it was really cool for them. So they weren't just kind of sitting at the house doing nothing. They were exploring Ensenada and what it had. Oh yeah,
living the dream. You guys are out there. You pay 110, and they're just hanging out.
Oh yeah, dude! It was like it didn't get over like 70 degrees down at the beach, so they were just chilling there the whole day. So yeah, they definitely had a good vacation.
Well, I think it's cool that you guys all both brought your family. It was nice to see Yesenia and all the kids from you, Joe, and obviously Ethan's family. Jeff, you had a lot of your team and friends and family down there too. That's one of the things that I enjoy so much about Baja and the racing community because it just makes it such a more rewarding when the efforts are, on the podium and stuff. It's really cool to share those experiences.
Oh, when I raced with Jeff, I actually had a lot of fun. He actually had a nice little crew, and everyone was in a good mood. So it does make the experience that much better.
All right. What's the best tacos you guys ate?
Oh, Valley T for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You, there's no other taco stand that beats Valley T.
Well, but Valley T, dude, I agree.
I had
Ethan, what was yours?
I don't know. Birria, that's what it was. Yeah, you know the one that you dip in the sauce, dude. That was so good. Dude, it was kind of like, it was kind of a risky move because it looked like it wasn't gonna be good for race day, but I was like, nah, dude, I'm down here. I gotta risk it, so I did, and it was worth it. Yeah.
It's a gamble.
That is a pretty big gamble, but I'm glad it paid off because those tacos are delicious, man. How about you, Joe? Because we know that your wife Yesenia is pretty particular on having good tacos.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I got to agree with Jeff. Those Valley T tacos are, and I keep trying to tell myself that it's probably just because we're tired, we're dirty, we just got out of the race car after 400 miles or whatever it is after pre-running, and they're that good. But they're just that good, just straight up, they're that good. So you just can't beat them.
Queso and carne.
You got it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think I've had like 8 of those once. I was so hungry.
Definitely. All right, so let's start with Ethan, then we'll go to Joe, and then we'll go to you, Jeff. But throw some shout-outs before about everybody that helped through the weekend and stuff.
Oh, what was the question? Sorry.
I just said throw some shout-outs because a lot of people helped you over the weekend.
All the sponsors and the team, Wayne and Steve, his co-driver, they did an awesome job bringing it to the finish line, and they brought it back as we left the shop. So it's pretty much perfect, no issues there. My family just for bringing me down here, Jeff for obviously setting up the race team, setting up the whole strategy and everything. Joe for being such a great co-dog, telling me to calm down at least 100 times. So that was really cool. and just the people. It's awesome.
Well, I definitely want to thank Tyler because he was great for content when I walked up in tech and contingency. Tyler did a fantastic job. So
Yeah.
thank you to Tyler.
Yeah, but like I say, hats off to the whole Honda team and Jeff Proctor and all their guys. They just had the cars ready and everything was in order and it wasn't really even chaotic. Like I say, as it is sometimes before a race. It was really nice. It worked out good and it was great. And that's the first time my family had actually been down to a Baja race with me in 15 years. So that was special on that part too. But like I say, all the guys that helped us out on the car and all the pits and everything was just pretty much spot on all day long.
Yeah, it was good. Jeff also had some sandwich makers that did a fantastic job too. Those sandwiches look delicious. But on a serious tip, Jeff.
Gosh, anybody that's raced down in Baja knows how many it takes to really pull off a successful effort. I thought we were a little bit light for 4 cars at 45 crew members, including some family members. But, I got to thank everybody on the team that worked so hard, especially the guys behind the scenes in my shop, getting Ethan's car ready and helping with Zach and Elias's car and all the pre-runners that need to be prepped. I mean, so it's not just 4 race cars, it's 4 race cars plus 4 pre-runners too. So it's a pretty large effort to get down to Baja. And I always say that I lose 3 years of my life preparing for each Baja race. It's that crazy, but the plan is to do all the work here and then execute it down there. And we just have a bunch of volunteers and crew members that are just solid. Cole, Evan, Jarrett in my shop were just phenomenal this week. Prepping cars and getting them ready and pitting and everything. Gosh, our media guys were awesome. There's too many people to thank, but on top of all of our partners that make it possible. Wheel and tire combos were off the charts. KMC Wheels, Maxxis Tires, and of course, a rock solid Honda platform. I mean, I don't think that there's a better platform out there in UTV racing than the Honda platform. Dual clutch, direct drive, no belts to worry about. It's just a solid platform. And I think you're going to see a lot more teams switching over now that they see how durable these drivetrains are. And if I could just give a quick shout out, our team is on finding its groove and in an absolute rally right now. We've won the last 4 major races in a row that we've entered. So really looking forward to Vegas to Reno to make it 5.
Yeah, it's cool. You guys have been doing a great job. And it's, Raceco USA just chimed in. Hats off to the Honda team. Way to keep the Hondas on top. So it's cool to see Jamie Campbell.
Class act.
Guys as well. So I have to say kudos to you guys too, but I want to say one thing as a side note. Dude, the cars look so sweet with that new livery, the blue and the white. Dude, it looks
like the factory Hondas now, finally. So they look so.
Oh, guy over here just all starstruck with the new
wrap.
Yeah,
so I got to say, I can't take credit for those wraps. That was a direct instruction from Japan, believe it or not. So there is a little backstory to it. I don't know how much time we have, but it's they came right down and said, "Hey, this blue is the color. Let's do it."
Yeah, let's do it real quick. We're gonna get Manny Boy and Adrian on in just a second here.
Yeah,
so let's just finish
the
that
bottom line
is
is that the Talon is a North American product, and it's run by the North American executives. The Japanese come in and they oversee a lot of the power sports efforts. And they came in and they said, in a nutshell, I'm going to paraphrase, but what's the Talon? Nobody knows what the Talon is, right? But everybody knows what a Honda is. So we want Honda on the side. So they went back to the drawing board and they came up with, I don't know if you've seen the new CBR 600. It has the 3 different colors of blue in it. There's a new Grom coming out that has the 3 different colors of blue in it. And then now the Talon. Yep. And then the 50th anniversary of the F4 or of the CRF or the CR family, which they just did at Paula 2 weeks ago for the supercar, the motocross team. They kind of debuted a blue livery as well. So it's kind of the new theme for Honda Power Sports in 2022 or 2022, 2023 bikes and SUVs, or not SUVs, side by side. So that's how kind of how it all came to fruition. The Japanese executive said, "Hey, this is the color scheme we want to go with, and we love it." And in fact, I'm getting a lot of people saying, "Hey, Jeff, your truck is now outdated. You need some blue in your truck." So I think you're going to see some blue in the Ridgeline coming up here soon.
Some changes. Well, I thought it was super cool. And Joe, you could probably get along with this too. Is like, I remember growing up, like racing dirt bikes. Everybody wants to be on the factory Honda team, right? Dude, all of them, dude. And then like to see it come back, I was like, no way. This is exactly what I like to see. Like it kind of gave me chills again. Like I got all that hype again. I'm like, dude, I love it.
For sure.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It really brightened up the whole car, and they just kind of pop. It looks really good.
So it must have been cool for you guys to be driving that thing around. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining. I appreciate it. Now we know where to get all the good tacos in Valley, guys, and Caden Mac. So appreciate you guys taking the time.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate the Dirt Life show.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, George. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Later, guys.
Later.
Pretty badass to see the new colors and stuff, right?
I did like it.
Yeah.
I did like it.
Those like, did you see the blue too? It's like a chrome kind of, like it's got a metallic kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass looking. Okay, so we're gonna get Manny Boy and Adrian on here in just a second. Let me invite them in, and there we go. Rancher Racing and Manny. All right, and then we'll talk with them a little bit about their race, and then we'll wind down the show for you guys. Awesome Baja recap. Lots of good people joining us today, so we're stoked, man.
I haven't seen Jeff in a while.
George,
What's
going on, man?
Dude? Got a lot
Is there a lot of
noise
fan
in the
noise?
background.
All right, so story on the fan noise is I'm in Parker now, and the shop has zero AC, and that's a swamp cooler making all that noise.
I know. We're at IMG, and we get up the window open and stuff too. So I feel you, Dawson. So if you got to
run over to the water real quick. We're not quite close enough, but the house, Brian's house, under Master Fabrication, backyard is actually the water. So it's hurry this up so I can go hop in that bad boy.
Adrian, you got to update your Instagram app like I told you before.
See?
So your Instagram fail, dude. We're already having all kind of technology issues today, right, Mila?
Not like us today.
Dude. All right, so Manny, let's just kind of get into it. Actually, you know what we should do before we ask Adrian what his favorite taco shop was? What was yours?
This is normally we're staying at a RV park, campsite, whatever, just north of the Stella restaurant before you come into town on the right-hand side. So normally we're right there on the water.
Yeah.
Well, this year we decided to try something different, a different park. And we were just down the street north of Estero Beach. So you got Baja Burro, a couple of other things. And the one that we decided to go to was Tacos de Poblano. So you got two choices.
Yeah.
Adobada and carne asada. and that's it. So I mean, the first time, yeah, the adobada, to be honest, it smoked trilero, I thought.
That's what everybody's all about on this Trilero tip. I'm not a big. I'm like
Well,
Trilero's
it's only
like
because
top 5.
So previously, the previous RV spot, it was right down the street from Trilero. So Adrian had us one year. It was breakfast, lunch, and dinner El Trilero. So we had it one time coming into town, and then that was it. So, but
that's a lot
of the two places, I'm gonna have to take Valley T. Of Poblano or Valley T, I'm taking Valley T for sure.
Really?
Yeah, dude, Valley T, you can't beat it, man.
Well, the cool part was that the Chase guys, they stopped and, hey, buddy. The Chase guys stopped in Valley T while we were doing the section over the summit and dropped down into the lake bed. So Valley T tacos in the Lake Bitter, I think, are way better than Valley T tacos in Valley T.
Yeah, I second that.
That's so. Welcome, Race Desert. What's up? Looks like Fish joined us too. Lots of people jumping on. So, welcome, Rancho Racing. Adrian Orlano, what's up, dude? And Manny, co-driving this race, the Baja 500. You guys did a very good job hauling the mail the last half of the race. I got to say that. But yeah, man, maybe just kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of some of the stuff that happened before the race and then going into the race.
Yeah, we prepped the car weeks before and all that, and we went out testing. I think like a week and a half before we left to Mexico with Fox. So awesome test session with Fox. We had some issues with just fine tuning stuff at the Mint, so we wanted to perfect that for Baja. So we did that. We got them dialed. Put the race car away in the trailer and just started packing and doing everything. We ended up leaving for Mexico Monday morning. Manny Boy and everybody, the whole team was super rad that everybody wanted to go with us Monday morning. So we had like 10 guys just come with us and go pre-running. They just wanted to hang out, Mexico. So we did that whole thing, pre-ran Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a little bit of Thursday, and then just the typical Baja festivities,
Well, we had Kate, pretty much everybody said the same thing, but Brandon Sims mentioned it first, was that pre-running the course was not the same as racing the course.
Yeah. So we had. I'm a big fan of pre-run to just take notes, lines for sure, but sometimes pre-running isn't necessary. A lot of people told us, Manny knows too, a lot of people were telling us that, hey, you got to pre-run the last 80 miles, the last 100 miles. We could have made it happen, but I just chose not to. The way that they were describing the section, I've been through those sections before. You're going to pre-run something to go faster in a section, and you probably shouldn't be going that fast. Drive what you could see. These cars are super capable to drive through that last 80 miles. So we definitely, I think we were moving through that section. We had some fuel or motor issues that were holding us back to about half power throughout the last 80 miles, but the car made it through. We held it together, and we missed the podium by, I think, like 3 minutes, unfortunately.
Dude, you wouldn't have even noticed that you were going, like, if you had issues, because that last portion of the race, you were still going really fast. Hey, somebody commented in Dangler said he is a legend. He might not be a legend after this show, because he might melt right now. So we're going to see if he can survive this show. He survived a Baja 500 that was pretty grueling, so we got good faith. Manny, what do you think about that statement that it's kind of the track is so
100%. And it's from the right seat, and you're going through that stuff. Me personally, I'm just like, screw two-wheel drive trophy trucks because they just chew stuff up so bad for us that it's like, what are we doing? It's like you don't even feel like you're at a race. You're just like trying to survive, just getting through this section. And
it's all his fault. And
it's funny. This is the first time ever in a race where I've said I would much rather be in a trophy truck than a UTV.
What do you think?
I would always pick a trophy truck over a UTV. But the new UTVs are pretty capable. Sure. I will say that.
That's a good point to bring up too. Is like, I'm a big fan of 4-wheel drive, because I always tell everybody 4-wheel drive is like cheating. So give us a little bit of a rundown of like how, I don't know how I want to say this or how I want to put this, but how capable those UTVs are now, Adrian. And I mean this like with a backup kind of baseline story. Is you guys ran in the naturally aspirated class, but you had a super good run. I mean, you beat a lot of big trucks. You beat a lot of different cars. Like, they're so capable now. So I kind of want to understand, like, okay, here, put it this way. If I'm going to race the next Baja race, the next Baja 500, what kind of car would you suggest I get?
If you've never raced UTV, I'm a huge fan of the NA class. They're very simple. I grew up racing 516 and 1/2 1600s. They resemble a lot, in my eyes, They resemble a lot to a 1.2 1600 with obviously more suspension. They're simple, they're clean, they got seats, they got a steering wheel. There's really nothing else to them. You don't have to worry about boost codes. You don't have to worry about, digital wrenches, anything like that, because they're very basic. I say an NA car, and we've proven it. Kristen's proven it that NA cars can overall races. In Baja, it's capable. It's possible. Cool thing is I don't have to lift. I don't have to be rolling in and out of the throttle like I do in a turbo car. I can just keep it matted the whole day, which makes that a lot more fun too. So it's, I say an NA car. I personally love the NA car.
Yeah, and then Dango just said the biggest difference is 40-inch tires. I mean, that does make a pretty big difference. Whoa. Pretty big difference.
Yeah, especially when you have to change it.
I've never changed a 40 before, so I couldn't even imagine. You're not picking that thing up with one hand.
Pretty stressful.
I've done it.
Up anymore.
That's true. I saw that. I saw a video of that. So
Yeah, I've done it. I've changed the 40 once in flip flops at a Pro Eagle event, but that's about it.
That's on asphalt, but that was on asphalt.
Yeah.
Flip flops. All I heard was chanclas. Is flip flops the first tire for changing 40s?
Nobody else wanted to do it, so I tried.
That is true.
Only in Mexico.
In Mexico, chanclas are definitely preferred by everyone. All right, so let's kind of get back to the race then. So there was a lot of different drama and different things that happened, like the bottleneck and things like that. But we've already talked about that kind of a lot on this show. So kind of give us just a rundown of how your race went, changing the strategy and having to manage what you guys were going through at the different times.
So we started off the race really good. We requested a rear start, which we got. So we started in the back, just make it easier for the whole team. And I like to have a little fun from the back going to the front. So we started doing that. I think by like mile 10, we had already passed 2 cars. Mile 12. We already passed 2 cars, and then we were on the bumper of Bolton. And I think it was like race mile 15 or 20. It felt like I got a flat. And then all of a sudden I just kept hearing like chassis slap after chassis slap. And I'm like, this is more than a flat, whether a broken arm or something. A total fluke deal. We pulled over, we checked it out. Manny got out, and I guess the reservoir line somehow on the shock, it blew open. So that was that one. We limped it to race mile 40. We swapped that out. And then a few miles later, we had another shock failure on the other side. Luckily, Fox has blessed us with some good spares, so we had to limp it to 70, and we swapped those out. And again, thankfully, we had a good test session. Those shocks were set up just like our race car ones. The ride height was just a tiny bit off for us, but that's when we started moving after race mile 70. We didn't get held up at the summit at all. By that point, we were already down over an hour, so we just said, "Screw it, man! Let's just see what we can do." We got to what was like 215, 240. And that's when we were told that the lead pack is only a few minutes. I think it was like 15, 20 minutes in front of us. And that's when we just said that Mike section was pretty good for us. So we made a lot of good moves there.
When you hear that stuff over the radio, Manny, like what do you tell Adrian as the co-driver? Are you trying to keep him mellow, or are you just like, all right,
I'm glad you asked that question, because for me, I'm still early into all this stuff. I've been doing it for, I don't know, I'm gonna say 5 years. And first time I ever went to Baja was to go race, and it was a Baja rally thing where we won. So I like to win. So nowadays, if you have a problem, it could be a 5-minute problem. Everybody's so fast in these UTVs now, and they're so consistent that you're almost all right. Well, it's the next one down. We're not going to win anymore. And Adrian, he's more than a co-driver to me. He's more than a friend. He's a mentor to me. He's a firefighter. He goes through a lot of adversity. So at race mile 70, he noticed. He's like, "Hey, You know, what's wrong with you? You know, throwing my tantrum, you know, quietly. And he's like, we're early in this race. So, you know, you got to, you know, either get out or, you know, figure it out. And I was like, all right, you know, let's have fun with this at least. And, you know, from there on, you know, we had a blast and we clicked really, really well together. This is actually the first time I've done a full race in Mexico with Adrian. So that was a good time. But he's really, go ahead, George.
It's cool to hear that. And Mila, you can actually probably speak more on this. Is there's like a lot of reality, like human interface things that people don't always talk about, like from the races, right? Like what you guys do in the cockpit, like if the driver hurts the car and the co-driver says fuck off or whatever, these different emotions that you go through driving a race like that, because you're tired, you're pushing hard, you got adrenaline, like all this stuff.
Well, and sometimes you're in two different mindsets, right? The co-dog may be tired and the driver may be angry. There's been times where I haven't even talked to my driver because he's just being ridiculous, and I'm like, okay, well then you're just going to drive on your own until you calm down. It's the stuff you got to work through if you don't have a good connection. So having a good connection is like crucial, because sometimes your driver will have to get your co-dog through some stuff.
So what's the move if you're in a situation where things aren't going perfect?
I always just tell them, man, just be patient. It'll come to us. Just keep charging. Forget about it. It's a race. It's not like we're going to sit and dwell on it. Just keep moving forward. That's all you can do.
100%.
Manny, you agree with that?
I mean, what is sitting there, you know, pouting, not helping your guy out, you know, going to do any good, you know? So to transfer, you know, that outside of the race car, you know, and bring it into everyday life, you know, it's like, you know, little things, you know, let's capitalize on the next thing if we can't capitalize on this one, you know? So, I mean, it's moving it from life and racing, you know? That's what I think.
Yeah. When you have a co-dog with you that can understand all that stuff, it probably makes it quite a bit easier to do the job and haul ass.
Yeah, it's definitely different. We play Dr. Phil in there all the time. My co-driver is my Dr. Phil. I'm his Dr. Phil. Dude, you're in the car for so long, and then I've grown to just solo all the races myself. So I've learned to deal with the issues that I have in my own head for 26 hours, 13 hours, what we just did this time. So I can figure those issues out pretty quickly now. So now I just kind of lean over to my co-drivers and just help them out. You know, if they're having a moment or whatever, you know, we could talk about it and we could figure it out. Yeah, we're still calling notes, but in between those notes, you know, we're still talking and figuring it out and talking about girlfriend doing whatever or boyfriends. It doesn't matter, you know, whatever it is. We just got to figure it out. And then it's awesome to see that 5-minute conversation. And actually it was like I'm going to give it a 2-minute conversation with Manny Boy. And then all of a sudden it's just a little bit of quietness, no big deal. And then we just start clicking miles, hitting every single line, hitting everything that we wanted to do during pre-run. We're doing it during race day and we're doing it perfectly. So we had, after that shock change, we had pretty flawless time the whole way through. So it was just pretty good.
Yeah, and it helps clear your mind and almost get back into, I don't know, I just call it muscle memory, right? You just keep like just cruising, doing what you know how to do. So when you're going through that, you just mentioned that you like to, just Ironman stuff, right? Like being that they say like the roughest course and you know, you're Ironmanning it. I mean, like that's got to be a mental struggle and a physical struggle during the whole race.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. To be honest with you, I started soloing races just because I started my own program, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago. And I was like, I'm just going to get racing out of my system. I just want to get it. And I want to get as many miles as I can do and just end up getting tired of it and be over it. That didn't happen. So I started going from, you know, UTV Worlds, the Min 400, the Baja 500. And then I'm like, I bet you I could do 1,000. And we did that. I think we got like second overall. Wes Miller beat us by, I think, a few minutes in an NA car. And after that, I was like, oh, I could do more. I could totally do more. So I love soloing the races. It's a super rad thing. Physically, it's definitely draining, but it's all mental. 100% it's all mental, man. Just to keep pushing your mind and your body just to keep moving and keep moving. And and it's super cool to do all the pre-running, all the logistics, and go down there. And then for me, specifically, this race clicked in about Tuesday or Wednesday that the map just got super small in my mind. I was like, oh, it's only 3 sections. It's no big deal. And it just gets super small. And hours, I don't want to know the time of day because it doesn't matter. I just need to know where everybody's at, and we'll just keep moving. So it's pretty fun to do it that way.
Those tips are pretty cool, man. I love to see and to hear the thought process that you go through, because a lot of racers in general, even co-drivers or racers, however it is, like it just clicks, right?
I asked Ivan Stewart once. I was fortunate enough to work with him, so I talked to Ivan a lot, and I said, "How do you do it by yourself? 1,000 miles?" I had an open face so I could drink my coffee, and I did it 1 mile at a time. It's all I could do. Everything else is null and void. So 1 mile at a time.
Yeah,
dude, like advice from a legend, but that's
dude. It's spot on. It's totally spot on. You just break it down 1 mile at a time. I do it one section at a time, and I look for little highlights and little goals in those sections, and I space them out pretty good, whether it's a jump that I want to hit sideways, or whether it's I want to see how close my tire can get to this rock, or just literally just messing around the whole entire time. And sometimes Manny will hear it, Carl will hear it, that I'll start giggling on that side because it's like I'm playing around over there and setting tires up in certain spots or hitting jumps or doing whatever, just playing around, Yeah.
That's crazy. Hey, we had a comment come in. Manny boy yelled "fuck yeah" just out of the blue. Is that
there's a lot of jokes that we had that whole week. I saw a couple comments right now with some things. There's a lot of fun. You get 10 guys together and one car to pre-run in, and 2 trucks following you around up and down Baja California. There's going to be some fun times.
Well, Orange Shield talking about your unit over here.
The comment disappeared. What did he say? Oh boy.
Few loose screws and God's grace. Yeah, I mean, like that's usually what wins races, right? Manny loves the horn. Oh, so we saw that at the finish line. It scared the fuck out of me because I was standing there with the camera.
Yeah. It's funny. We pull up and I'm like, everyone looks a little sleepy. Wake up, everybody! And it's not dead. It's 12:30. Everyone's capped.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dude, I love
it. Not at
what is it?
Go ahead.
Oh, I love when we got to the finish line, we gave Caden a little high. Dude, I love seeing him in front of us. I love seeing him behind me. It's so much fun just playing around with them.
Yeah, it is cool to see. Like, I love that you guys operated on not a loose program, but a loose program and having fun and just keeping it light. It's really cool to see that because it makes that whole atmosphere, all the memories, just that much better.
Yeah, definitely.
You can still keep it light. I mean, that's where a lot of people have a hard time
separating it.
Yeah, be light, but have fun and be determined.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so you guys did well. If you had to gauge or just like do a race recap or whatever you want to do, like on your way home, what are the things that you're changing to do better for next year or the next race?
Honestly, man, it's all personal stuff for me. Just trying to figure out whether organization. I take notes at the end of literally it was like 3 a.m. and everybody's passed out, trying to fall asleep. And I'm asking questions of, what did you guys need in the chase trucks? What do you guys need? And what do you guys want? Better things. Right. And literally my list, I ask that every race, and my list is down to better food storage for the guys, a little bit of better organization for my main chase truck. And I think that was it. So,
man, that means you got a pretty solid program, but there's always
there's
growth what you do, right? Like,
yeah, the communication was awesome. The tracking was awesome. The lighting, the chase notes. When I'm pre-running, these guys are pre-running and looking at all their sections they're going to pull into, access roads. yeah, we nailed it. We had a little snafu during pre-running, but I'm glad it happened then because that's when it should happen. And the boys were nailed it. Chasing, everything.
Yeah, that's cool. There's a comments coming in said well done. Somebody said that you need a personal chef.
I like to cook. I like to cook when I'm out there too. That's my little Zen moment. So big Traeger guy.
But yeah, so Adrian and I were actually talking about, you'd probably like this, is we want to go do like a spy session and see what's in all of these guys' coolers. Yeah. That'd be cool.
If I don't race the 400, we need to do that. We'll jump in my truck or something, and we'll take the Razor around and just pull up to people's pits. Take the 110s and just pull up to people's pits, running to their faces with the camera. That'd be funny.
Dude, I'd be so into it. It's so cool to see what people pack in there. Rob and Amber Matt gave me full inside access, so I see what Amber puts in all their coolers and stuff. Big Rob Mac fan right here. And anybody else that's a Mac fan, you can always surprise the dude and give him a smile with some recent.
There you go.
No, I think it's recent. Sorry.
Another one is what we carry in the race car. Like I got a full calorie count of what I carry in there because I solo races. So I got to have my food in there. Plus I have, specific bags that I give my crew that I pull up to the pit, and they open up a special cooler just for us and the drivers. And they pull out a Ziploc bag with the race smile and just hand it to me. And I know exactly what to do with it. So there's a lot of cool little things that help.
Dude, did you guys run a program like that?
Yep.
Really? Like
Andy had his own bag for every pit that he wanted. See,
like a calorie count?
Not a calorie count, but he set up his bag. This is what he wanted.
So,
dang, that's so official, dude. Because I would be just like waiting for like Indian James to talk.
So I make my own sandwiches the race morning. I'll cut the crust off because it's hard to chew with the with the helmet on. I mean, I'll do a bunch of little things like that. That people are like, dude, that just makes a whole lot of sense.
It's official. Yeah, like when I did all the triathlon, endurance sports and stuff like that, we would do the same thing. But man, you're doing it for the racing. That's taking it pretty serious, man.
Yeah, that's one less mental stress that I got to worry about.
Yeah, totally. Manny, what are you trying to eat?
I eat everything and anything.
This guy's got some treats over there, dude. He's got some treats. It's a vending machine on that side of the car.
100%. We probably go a little bit faster if I didn't have so much food in the car.
That's hilarious. What are you trying to eat, though, man? We need some answers.
The boys over at Baja Jerky, they hooked us up with a whole bunch of the sample packs and door bags full of them. Couldn't even get the impact out of there.
That's a fact. I found a couple bags unopened in the car.
100%.
Did he miss calling any turns because he had a mouthful?
No. We do it in certain sections. There's a little rule. You can't be chewing on beef jerky, smashing San Felipe whoops, man. It's just not going to work.
You're going to bite your tongue off.
Yeah, you're going to do something.
I bit my cheek at race mile 160 eating an apple at a pit. Pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Lucas just said tacos.
Yeah. Dang.
That's next level. What did you eat in the truck?
It's the goo packs. And I like my water cold. I know it's not good for you because your body takes more energy to warm it up and digest it, but cold water because I'm always just dying. And then goo packs.
Yeah. You guys don't do goo packs, right? You guys do like, we know Manny's like a big Sour Patch guy.
Yeah. I'll do like the Baja Jerky stuff, those beef sticks, and then I'll do like the Cliff Blocks. I'll do my little treats is just gummy bears. Yeah, man, that's really it. I kind of have all the varieties of those Cliff Blocks. I have, breakfast in the morning. I'll have at pits. I'll have actual solid food. Yeah, and just keep it moving.
What have you ever done? Do the Destroy Boys? Has anybody done like eat a popsicle like in the pits like before you take off again? I feel like that would help.
Well, how are you going to keep a popsicle frozen in the middle of that lake bed?
They have all kinds of new technology.
Yeah.
Oh, in the pits, not in the car. Like you come into a pit and you just get off and just slam.
No way, dude. I'd be afraid to get a brain freeze. Yeah.
That's all right. Scratch you off, Pops. All right. So the race went pretty good. Obviously, you had some issues and stuff, and you're able to understand what you can do better for the next race. When is the next race?
We're up in the air with if we're going to do Vegas to Reno or the Baja 1000. We got some other stuff and shows and events that we got to do in between all that stuff. So we'll just regroup and see what we need to do for that. Right now is just take a week off and reevaluate everything and look at what we need to do. Start ordering parts and start washing and do it all over again.
Yeah, man. Rinse and repeat. We just got some information here about popsicles, though. It says Adrian eats popsicles and hot guys.
Loose program.
We love it, man. That's what the Dirt Life's all about, is all this fun stuff that happens behind the scenes, man. You guys had a fantastic time, I'm sure. You know, you had some of the Boxo guys with you. You had all your family, your crew, everybody that came down. So, tell us about that stuff. Maybe give us a little bit of
so, dude, I mean, everybody's got a nickname. Everybody's got a nickname. I don't know if I have one yet. I'm sure they have one, but I haven't heard of it yet. But everybody's got right. There's the comment up there. I'm gonna let Manny tell that the doo-doo paper story.
This one relates back to the whole taco thing. And the reason why I chose Valley T Tacos is because of this reason right here. I thought it was but after our first attempt at Tacos Poblano,
we can hear you.
So after our first whack at the Tacos Poblano, we all, got back to bed. We were pre-running that day. Everyone's out by 10 o'clock. Well, I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning on the top bunk of his toy hauler, and I'm like, oh no. So, trying to climb down, landing on one of the guys on the bottom bunk, trying to do it quietly, not wake everybody up. It's 3 in and you're in Mexico, so the public trailer park bathrooms aren't the greatest, but it's a toilet. So, go in there and forgot I was in Mexico, and I look left and I look right, and there's no toilet paper.
Oh!
So, it's 3 o'clock.
This is 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's 3 o'clock.
I throw a little 2 cents.
That's horrible, and you have no lifeline.
I throw a little 2 cents that you can hear Manny in the back just help. not trying to wake anybody.
So I
can just see that in my mind.
I was a split second from being naked and running to the trailer at 3 o'clock in the morning. But one of the other pit guys, he had to use the bathroom too. So I popped the door open because I hear somebody waking up. I popped my head out the bathroom. I'm like, hey, give me some toilet paper. And he's like looking, and he's like, who is that? He's like, oh, Manny. Yep. Grab me some toilet paper and went right back to bed.
So all week, just doo-doo paper.
So the lesson learned here is, like, you don't have to prep your car anymore. You just have to be prepared every time.
With the doo-doo paper.
Put toilet paper. Put toilet paper on the pillow before you go to sleep. That way you're ready to go.
Or wear socks to the bathroom.
Yeah, right. Socks to the bathroom. Yeah, there's a lot of good times on our Instagram story. We got a new mascot. Lucas was in the truck by himself, so we decided to give him a little bit of company, and we got him Myrtle, the Rancho Racing Turtle. So he's there now.
Tortuga. That's actually pretty cool. So it's a Rancho Racing Turtle.
So yeah, there's a bunch of cool stories that we had. The Valley T, or not Valley T, but sorry, La Ventana bees. They were smacking our tacos like crazy. Yeah,
really?
I've never seen bees out in 110 degrees. It's crazy.
It's Mexico. People love tacos.
Apparently, man. Apparently, Jason, our photographer, he got stung by one. He was there swatting at him. Yeah.
Really? Dang, dude, that sucks. Jason's a pretty sweet guy. So Dad jokes all day, dude. All right, so yeah, you said you guys are going to get racing again pretty soon. Try to do Vegas to Reno. Throw some shouts out.
Yeah, man. I mean, we had, besides just a couple little failures, we had 0 flats. There is actually a cactus sticking out of the inside of my tire, which is kind of, I don't know if we can see it, but you see the actual orange seal that we run to seal it in there. So that sealed that up. But the tires we started with, we finished with, no flats. The wheels were awesome. Tires were awesome. That thing lit up behind me right there was the epic thing at night. The whips in our chase trucks were bright as heck, and we could spot them from literally a mile away, 2 miles away. So big shout out to Buggy Whip for that, for sure. We did have to use a Pro Eagle a couple times, so that didn't fail. So I definitely appreciate that, Jack. Those things work. Even that incline, actually, Manny, at race mile 70, the car was like completely leaning over. We had to jack it up the opposite way just to get it straight. So that's pretty impressive.
On my window, I'm just talking to him like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yep. Yeah. All our sponsors for sure.
Hey, so before I'll let you finish up with the sponsors, but did you know that Chuck's engaged now?
I saw. He was supposed to go to Mexico with us, but I can understand why he couldn't.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations to Chuck and Jen for having new life. That's gonna be awesome. But it is cool. Yeah, your fuel wheels.
Oh yeah, our lights, KC, Orange Seal, Pro Eagle, EFX, fuel wheels, Boxel tools. We'd use those too. Yeah, just everybody. Motor had great power. 0 failures to the diffs, axles, transmission. Everything's cryo heated, so we definitely trust in that one. Even with no skid plate, that transmission took a beating. So I appreciate that for cryo heat, man. That thing's solid.
Yeah, dude, totally. Man, you guys did a fantastic job, though. So I think it's rad that you guys are doing it. Manny, are you going to participate in some more racing with this
absolutely.
fast driver over here?
Absolutely. Whenever he says, we're racing, I'm racing with you, pal. And, I raced a couple of other guys throughout the year. And my next one will be in 2 weeks. So I'm doing the Legacy Baja Nevada with Cole Husted. Yeah.
Ooh, right back into it.
Right back into it. And after that, I'm not too sure.
Can I make it?
What's up?
Quick, though? Wait, United States too. Just take the toilet paper.
Doodoo paper.
So when you do find a co-driver that you like, it's pretty important to stick around, right?
Yeah, dude, I'm so lucky. I've got 3, so, and they all do. Dude, they all do their own sections. It's pretty rad. I'm definitely lucky. So I don't.
Is that 3 main drivers, or is it like a main and 2?
No, they're 3 main. I don't know. Manny just did something pretty crazy that I've never had before. Well, no, Daniel did it too, but he's the full-time mechanic and now driving chase trucks. So, but besides Daniel, yeah, Manny's been the first one to solo race with me like that. So
that's pretty.
I've done longer miles than this. I did the 1,000 this past one. Did the start to 680 with Caden, but honestly, after the race, I felt worse in other races. So my body was like, you can keep going if you really wanted to. So when he starts, barking about soloing thousands and stuff, my wheels start to get to turning, and I'm like,
Co-driving is a whole nother beast. That's what I grew up doing. I grew up co-driving for years and years and years. And up until about 3-4 years ago, I was still co-driving. A good family friend, Victor Herrera. So I was co-driving with him in Justin Lampert's car. And my dad would yell at me and like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you still doing that? You have your own program. It's like, you know what? I don't want to forget. I don't want to think that I'm a driver and forget how a co-driver feels on that side. So I'm super reminded by it. I know how to treat my co-drivers. Maybe that's why I got 3, you know?
Dude, crazy that you say that though, because like, well, first of all, I give kudos to both of these guys because I cannot co-drive. Dude, I can't even read the GPS barely.
Yeah, it's a different thing. It's a different thing. And then I got a steering wheel to play with. Co-driver gets beat up over there. I know the bumps are coming. I know the hits are coming, and he doesn't know. So
to be honest, it's a completely different right seat to left seat. It's a totally different.
What are some of the differences?
So as a driver, it's not as physical. Like he's just saying, the co-dog, he's just getting beat up the whole time. And while he's getting beat up, he's got the GPS.
Because you're taking like blind punches the whole time, kind of?
It's kind of different because the driver just has a steering wheel. You can anticipate it a little better. It's just a ride. I remember when I drove, first time I drove a Class 1 car in a race, I was done. I was like, I'm ready to do it again. Where the co-dog's like, fine.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a different seat, man.
That is. What did you feel like? Did you feel pretty smoked then after? Because both of you guys at the finish line looked fresh.
we were messing around in there the whole time, bud. We have a good time in that car. Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. And like I don't know. Kudos to you guys because I feel like I was smoked.
Yeah, we got a little regimen in there. I drink a lot of water in there, and it kind of plays on Manny too, you know. And he sees that I'm taking food and taking the time, and he's like, "Man, maybe I should do that too," you know. And water's a big thing. Food's a big thing. Yeah, and just laughing and having a good time, man.
Has anybody ever told you guys? So this is one of the first things that I learned when I was doing all that endurance sports like triathlons and stuff. Drink before you're thirsty and eat before you're hungry.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's definitely true.
Crazy. It's crazy to think that off-road racing has made that much progress and is that gnarly nowadays. You have to put yourself in these physically advanced modes to be able to Ironman stuff. It's pretty bitching.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, boys. Well, we really appreciate it. And Manny, you want to throw some shout outs?
Yeah, I just want to say, thanks to the Adrian and his whole program. I never dreamed that I'd be doing this, 5 years ago. So to help have these guys and do what I love and do what I've always wanted to do, and I just want to say thank you to him. I want to say thank you to the owner of the shop, Master Fabrication, Brian, for just letting me peace out for a week, and
Dude, straight up, we owe that boy a bottle of tequila, man. He let you go for the whole week, and you guys just moved. You guys just moved. That's crazy, dude. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Dude, Manny's gonna have to catch up. He's gonna be spending some nights there.
Yeah. He's gonna be spending some nights for sure. Sorry about that, bud.
Yeah, it's all right. It ain't work.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's cool that you have all that, and obviously, I know that both of you guys want to thank your family for letting you go down to Baja and spend all that time down there.
Yeah, my family's awesome, man. My whole team is all family, uncles, cousins, friends that I've known for decades. Yeah, man, the whole team was just nonstop laughs, nonstop memories, and then the racing was a little cherry on top too. So,
dude, 100%. Mila, you got anything else before we bail out?
Thanks, job well done, gentlemen.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, boys. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thanks, homies. We really appreciate it. You guys did a fantastic job. Can't wait to see you guys at the next races. Yep. So, all right. We'll see you guys
boys. Later, Manny.
Later, buddy.
Dude. So one thing I noticed about the whole show, that the whole show, like, everybody had the same, even if they did different positions or whatever, everybody enjoyed themselves.
That's what it's all about, man. Like, if you're not enjoying it, why are you doing it?
Yeah, that goes for life in general. But I really feel like this off-road culture, the dirt life, all of these separate things that we're talking about really give that same, well-being and mental, strength and all this stuff. Because there was so many little things that we heard in the show today talking about eating right and keeping your mental focus and enjoying yourself and having other people help you when you're not feeling right or whatever, and going back and forth and keeping, just happiness going. Like, all of that stuff means so much to me, to you, as a human. Like, it's just rad that the off-road culture can bring that.
Well, off-road is so hard, right? It's not easy. Everything about off-road is a big smack in the face. So if you go at it in any sort of different attitude, it just is not fun.
Yeah.
So you got to build off the hype of being fun, being with your friends, doing amazing things with vehicles that you can't even explain it to people. If you try and say, "Oh, we're going to go in the desert and beat ourselves up," people are like, "What?"
Yeah, like,
It's so fun.
that's a good lead-in to take us out of the show. Like what he said, like racing in Baja for 500 miles. Who would have thought? Okay? Like, that's just so crazy. All right, well, we want to thank everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. We didn't get very much time to thank our sponsors, so thank you very much to all the guys that sponsor the show. KMC Wheels, like Mila's hat. The guys at Vintage Canopies, my hat. Really appreciate the guys at Shock Therapy. JL Audio. Let's see here. Am I forgetting people? KMC Wheels, I already, Evolution Power Sports, and the guys over at ZRP, Zolander Racing Products, Josh over at Cryo Heat. Man, everybody that helps the show, we really appreciate it. And we really appreciate all you guys for hanging out and talking to us. Just found a podcast today. Love every bit of it. Well, thank you very much, Cole Bailey. Really appreciate it. Hope you get to listen and watch some of the shows. All you guys can hit us up anytime. Let us know what you guys want to hear more of. We're going to have that driving technique episode next week. I think that'll be fun. Maybe try to see if we can help some of you guys in your racing program, or even just being the Robbie Gordon of your campsite at the dunes. So, we love you guys. Good night.
Thanks for listening to the Dirt Life Show. See you next week.